Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon. I'm in here with a very, very special guest. My man, my brother Randolph Thor. I haven't spoken to him physically. I haven't spoken to you in a while, man. Hold
We
on.
we haven't talked since the last time we did one of these.
Yeah, probably last time. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was because the diabetic gaming. I don't know what the hell. I got ostracized. They kicked my black ass out of the Xbox community. I've been ostracized, bro. They threatened to render me unconscious, man. But what's been going on with you? Actually, hold on. Let me get anything back to see as the room fills up. Hold on one second, good brother. Make sure we live and I ain't talking to myself. Oh yeah, be live. Edit. You know what I mean? But like I said, guys, ladies and gentlemen, as you come in, you'll be so kind as to hit the like button. We're gonna have a entertaining show today, to say the least. I'm in here, like I said, with Randall Thor. We're going to talk about E3. We're going to talk about Next Generation. We're going to talk about the Sony bend the knee yesterday. Got to talk about that. We're going to talk about a few things, you know what I mean, off the cuff. But Rand, what's going on with you, brother? How have you been?
All right, man. Hey, someone slipped into my DMs and said that you're ready to tear up that PlayStation contract and come back to Xbox
Hey,
after Sony bent the knee.
hey, bro, listen here, man. You know my famous saying, my integrity is always in question. You know what I mean? I think I may have signed that contract under duress. I was laid up in the hospital bed, and my brother, and you can't trust me, the Porter Rock in Kratos, sold me some snake oil 3 hours about 3 o'clock in the morning. Porter Rock on Army time, Swiss Army time, called me about 3 o'clock in the morning. When I was laid up in the hospital bed. You know what I mean? And they told me that Sony was still doing the traditional consoles. You know what I mean? So I still have my contract right here and weave it. You know what I mean? Right here in front of the camera, so you can see it. You know what I mean? I think I may have signed that contract under the rest. You know what I mean? But I was given, like I say, an opt-out clause for Next Generation. But like I said, we're gonna talk about that, man.
Well, it really does seem like ever since certain people flip flop from Xbox to PlayStation, it hasn't been good PlayStation news.
Hey, is he small crap? Is he still gonna roll with the PlayStation thing? What's going on? Is he still PlayStation or he back? Whatever.
I don't know. It's just funny. Days Gone with that 70 Metacritic, Sony bending the knee. It's just not. Jay on Twitter is
Tony
just,
Pikey.
he's had to concede certain things to Tim Dog, which is something I would never see. So
You know what's crazy, yo? And it's crazy that I say that, right? And I always say, like I said, from the outside looking, and they think, or used to think right now, that Tim hated Kratos. They didn't like each other. Nah, them motherfuckers, they the best of pals. We got per DMs. We all be back there just bugging out, just naturally, just jokes. Don't never like
yeah,
some of us do take it seriously. Can't make it, but it's normally just jokes. You know what I mean? Nothing seriously, ain't nothing malicious. Just jokes all day. But a lot of people, I understand they get behind these consoles like their favorite sports teams. You know what I mean? But like I said, it is what it is. But yeah, Kratos will tell you in a heartbeat, man, that he ain't taking no L's, man. He had slipped that in a heartbeat and tries damnness. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Uh, but have
He's
you
always
played?
he's always running some angle on Twitter. I see him all the time.
Yeah,
I
hey,
see him.
have you played Days Gone?
Yeah, I finished it. I put 50 hours into it.
Hey, yo, Rand, what the fuck? I know I ain't got no job. Like, how the hell do you get the time in the day, bro? Like,
I
bro, you
usually get
gets it
more on
in.
the weekends. Like during the week, it's a little bit harder for me to put time into stuff. But the weekends are usually like free and clear. So
Hey, bro, let
I
me
don't
tell.
got kids. I'm not married.
Oh, you ain't got no kids. Oh
So
shit.
yeah.
Hey, bro, not even so much. When I was younger, when I was in my prime, my libido was strong. I can sit down and play the game for hours. You know what I mean? I mean, right now, when I can't play the game for hours unless I'm on some Adderall or something. But I just don't have the time in the day anymore. If you get 2 hours out of me today, or whatever, it's cool. But I just don't have. Bro, you do YouTube. This,
Yeah.
bro, people joke and don't know they don't really do it or whatever. Or I mean, I want to say, I'm not saying I have a successful channel, but anybody does this shit here or whatever and put a little effort into it, this shit here takes time. You know that.
Editing, yeah. I mean, I definitely put some time into my videos. Like maybe not as much as Dealer
No, the man as much as
or
crap.
Colt,
We know
but
crap got the best videos around town. But yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to learn and get better, because I'm not really a creative person yet. But yeah, like even the video yesterday about Sony and Microsoft's deal, I think that took me an hour to put together.
Ooh,
You know,
ooh, yeah. I mean, like I said,
so
it takes. Some getting used to. You know what I mean? Hold on, guys. I'm about to be seeing you guys in 1 second. I'm just getting the tags here together for the show. So I just see somebody drop something in the chat. I'm not ignoring you. It's just that I can't see it. Are you looking at the chat, bro? You see it?
Yeah, I got the chat up.
Did somebody drop something in the super chat or something or whatever? I heard something go ding 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 ding.
I don't think I haven't seen
Okay,
it.
all right. Don't even worry. I heard it. I heard it.
Oh wait, no, someone did. Someone did. AP the shooter says Z. Last night was funny as hell. Foolery FNs.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Shout out to my brother AP the shooter. What he said, a classic line. Ran motherfucker said the PlayStation 2 was so powerful they had to stop selling it in Iraq because the FBI said they didn't want it to fall into the wrong hand. Saddam gonna make bombs out of them or some shit like that. Shit blew my goddamn mind. But shout out to my brother AP the shooter. And mine, you said that shit with a straight face. But yeah, that's my dude though, man. But like I said, I have Days Gone, the collector's edition, and I haven't even get the chance to play it yet. I was saying I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna stream it either tonight or tomorrow, all day, get as far as I get. How did you like the game?
And I enjoyed it towards the end. The first 10 hours are rough though, but like
Either tonight or tomorrow.
I didn't really enjoy the first. I know to say this like it's but like first 10 hours were bad.
Oh, they are bad.
Yeah, story, combat, characters, setting.
What's bad? What was bad about it?
Combat's bad because you have really shitty weapons and you're not upgraded enough for like accuracy, recoil, because those are perks in the like upgrade tree.
Oh,
So combat's not good. The motorcycle goes really slow and requires a lot of gas. It becomes better when you upgrade it. You don't know anything that's going on, nor should you care about anything. It's like the first 10 hours are just bad. Much better when you reach the third camp. The story becomes good. The characters get more fleshed out. The combat becomes better because you get better weapons and you can invest in some of the perks to make that stuff easier to do. But yeah, I didn't enjoy the first 10 hours whatsoever. I thought it was very boring.
oh, wow. Before the game released, and they had it at a couple like South Pop Wax, a couple of little shows and stuff, right? And one of the things that I heard about the game that was that it paid too much attention to detail to the bike. They said the bike was like Alien in The Last of Us. That's one of the issues that people the gripes that they have about the game is the bike. Like you always constantly got to get the bike fuel like it's a dog. Like, you know what I mean? Every mission it falls apart. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that they didn't, like about the game. You know what I mean? For more or less. Shout out to my brother, the Ruhan, man. He said, "What's good, Z?" And ran. Shout out to you. You know what I mean? It's one of the things, that they didn't, well, let me ask you a question again, like I said, leading to this. So, that Sony's been on a tear when it comes to their first party exclusives, right? Do you think that they set the bar just so high? And, and was, in comparing, Days Gone to either Spider-Man, God of War, or, that
has something to do with it because Sony's first part. I love Sony's games. I ain't gonna front. I think they're the best. Sony makes the best AAA cinematic, story-driven experiences.
Why is that?
Mainly because I think they have a plethora of talent at all their studios. They've been working together for a long time. Naughty Dog, they've been working together since I think they bought them during the PS2 era. So it's it's about time and talent and the money given. They let God of War be worked on for 5 years. Days Gone, 5 years in production, so on and so forth. That's Sony's bread and butter. In my opinion, they're the best at it, right? Problem is, Days Gone, yeah, when you look at Sony and their first party games, you kind of compare them all. God of War and Spider-Man are amazing, and Days Gone just in comparison just doesn't look as good to those. And when I was playing it, I actually was thinking of putting a video out after Days Gone came out, and it was gonna be clickbaity. I ain't gonna front. Sometimes I do that here and there. I expect greatness from Sony, or I expect greatness from PlayStation, and Days Gone ain't it. Or Days Gone isn't delivering because game. It's just not a great game. You know, it's average, slightly above average. But the sequel, a lot of the problems the game has is tech orientated. Like I think it'd been better with the PlayStation 5 on the SSD. So there's less pop-in. It can run at a higher frame rate. There's no loading in between gameplay and cutscene, which really took me out considering there's thousands of cutscenes. And they could have, go back to the drawing board and work on the pacing of the story so the first 10 hours isn't as boring as it is. So I think if Sony on 2, it'll be a much better experience.
Okay.
So.
Now, the studio, I'm still waiting for them. Like I said, do me a favor, guys. As you guys come in, hit the like button. For you know that that we're live. A lot of people not getting notifications, but hold on one second. Me right here. Bam. Okay, 1 second. Post. Here we go. Okay. Shout out to who's this here? El Matador 809. Sony Bennett was making a handheld, so for them to a open world, you got to get them process. So I was going to ask. Shout out to my brother Heath Stevens too. That's what I was going to ask. You. Their first games, or normally they were handheld. Now this is their first AAA project. You know what I mean? That they're done, or that they've been doing. You know what I mean? Do you give them? How you say you give them E forever? What
Yeah,
do you
sure.
do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I cut them some slack a little bit. Yeah,
Oh.
for sure. I mean, like I said, I think the second game they did this game. I think the second game could be really, really good. It's just that this first one, it just doesn't. For me, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 or an 8, which it really kind of redeemed itself after the horrible beginning. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what Days Gone 2 will bring on the PlayStation 5.
All right. Hold on, let me read some of these chats right here. Shout out to my brother Stuart Stokes. He said, I'm going to wait till next gen to get into Days Gone. Then next generation, goddamn. All right, so I'm going to wait till next generation to get into Days Gone. Played about 5 hours right now. Too many technical problems, and base PS4 can't handle it. 5 out of 10, no damage control. Should have saved it for a PS5 launch title. Okay, well, and this is my man Stuart Stokes. He is a diehard Sony fan, Sony pony. And speaking of that, I should have maybe found a way to fucking patent that shit, but crap stole my shit. You said that, right? Goddamn thief.
I saw your stream where you showed the I think it was like on
Urban Dictionary or some shit. He stole my shit. Like he's the creator of Sony Pony. I should have knew then, goddamn thief. But anyway, like I said, okay, but like I said, well, here's the question. Now, Rand, you are a die-hard Microsoft guy. Well, used to be, right? I haven't spoken to you in it. Actually, you know what, Rand? Me and you actually, you know what? You owe me an apology. You actually tagged me on Twitter before I really, really knew you. And I was just fucking with Phil, just bugging the fuck out. Come on, LZ. I think you blocked me or some shit.
I only have one person blocked on Twitter, and that's Iron
Fraud.
Fraud.
What I'm saying? But you know what I mean. But you got to know me, just me bugging.
I mean, I had the same interaction with Crap the first time. He was gonna block me right away.
Oh, you know what I mean. But Rand, I thought the man with the million. Me such as myself. And for those of you that don't know, some of you guys may be new to my dog shit channel. Some of you guys has been here as long as I had your grandmother's phone number. You know how I'm doing. I ain't got friend no foe, but. I got the original Xbox in 2001, and how I got it, to be honest with you, hey, Rand, I wasn't the most honest guy all my life, right? Guy came through, wanted to bundle with dope, but he had his grandparents' credit card, shame on me. We went to Toys R Us. I didn't know what the fucking Xbox was, but I already had the PlayStation 2, and of course I know what Microsoft was, so I got, well, give me the Xbox, and I got all the goddamn games. So this was in 2001. What blew my mind about the original Xbox was the fact that I had a hard drive and I can put my CDs into it. I remember me playing Tony Hawk Skate. Remember Tony Hawk? That's I used to be into those type of games. You know what I mean? Tony Hawk, and they had another game called Reckless. I could put the CD in and save the CD to the the hard drive, and it could play while I'm playing my games. Blew my mind. Then believe it or not, Rand, I was an Xbox Live beta tester. You know what I mean? Got the $150 kit in the mail. I forget the games that they had, but you know what I mean? I was even a beta tested for that. That's how long. You look at my gamer tag, you can see the shit is old as Moses, right?
Okay.
And that what really, me being a Xbox fan. Just the online. The fact that I can sit in my house, bro, and talk shit to you, like that shit just blew my mind. I don't give a fuck. It caught me playing some of the most bullshit ass games, but the fact that I can sit back and talk shit blew my mind, right? You know what I mean? And again, I told you I'm not, big into, at the time, I say first person, not really a big Halo guy, but really was Fable. Fable was my shit, you know what I mean? I remember it was sad, they had your mother in the basement, she was blind, he was fighting her or some shit, I mean, Fable was my shit, right? So, went from the original Xbox, and all the type of the games that the Xbox had, Advent Rising, Utagi, they had all types of games, you know what I mean? Then to the 360, and again, I was looking at Microsoft as being maybe the leader, just transforming gaming. You know what I mean? And with new stuff like then the achievements and now they call them indies, but it was called Xbox Live Arcade titles. Which just came out every Wednesdays. Party chats. It was always something new, always something fresh, always something hip, right? Then I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Let me hop in this hot tub time machine. These last 3 years, bro, this has been like down from a Chinese torture, bro. 1,000 cuts, man. We talking about $1 trillion company. And I asked you this question again to refresh, bro. I just don't know. Like, is this an inside job? Like, purposely doing this? Like, how the hell did we get here?
It is an interesting path Microsoft and Xbox walked. Right?
I don't know why though. It's just like, how could you just purposely? You got this hip product, you know what I mean, and the 360. Don't get me wrong. Sony had missteps with the PS3, and Nintendo always come out every so often do some weird shit with the Wii U, with the game. What I mean. It is what it is, but it's not like you don't have to reinvent the wheel, because it looks like Sony took a lot of the things that make the 360 successful, like doing the third-party deals, getting exclusive content, themed consoles, marketing, all that shit. You know what I mean? They just stopped doing all that, and then again, like before, when was the last time we had a game announcement? Like how do you get there? Or how do you even still have faith? Again, Rand, this is 3 years.
Man, you put me on the spot on this one. Yeah, the last couple years haven't been good. I think it has to more do with what Xbox was positioned as. Leaving Ballmer, new CEO coming in, Nadella, who had a different vision than Ballmer, didn't know anything about gaming. Oh, the division had its funding cut, and they're pretty much trying to skate by. You can basically see all the games that were in development, and then at some point, the development on new games that essentially weren't Halo or Gears or Forza, they just kind of vanished up in smoke. And I don't particularly like Sea of Thieves very much, but there are plenty of people that do. I don't really like State of Decay 2 very much, although there are plenty of people that do. I'm not sure anybody likes Crackdown 3. It's just it's for me, because look, I can't speak for everybody else. The last 2 years, exclusive-wise for Microsoft content, have been pretty bad.
Though. I mean, we haven't had a game announcement in 3 years.
Sure. I mean, I look at what comes out in the year. 2016, Quantum Break, Gears 4.
Quantum Break was the last big game.
Recore.
That was the last.
Yeah. So Microsoft, in my eyes, was 2016. 2017 had Halo Wars 2, Voodoo Vince, Phantom Dust, and
Zoo Tycoon.
It's a wash year. 2018, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Forza Horizon 4. So that's one good game out of 3. This year, that's not good. But you got Gears 5 and Ori 2, which I think will both be incredible games.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think they're trending upwards. We've experienced the low point for Xbox, and I think it's nothing but up. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, you have the image here up on your screen of all the new studios they bought.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
So are ahead. The question is, will you like the games that they're making? Will they, satisfy you? Are they going to compete with Sony's AAA single player
Okay.
games? I don't know, and I don't really think so. I don't think Microsoft is going to make a God of War style game. That's not to say that they're not going to make a incredible looking game, because I expect Fable from Playground to be fantastic and one of the best looking games for next generation when it comes out. But Sony does, and they're incredibly good at it. And Microsoft is finally, I guess you could argue, like Phil and company and Satya, they have a vision of what the brand should be, and finally, so they are going full forward down that path.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Pay the bill. Shout out my bro again, my man Stuart Stokes with the hot $10. He said, let me clarify this. I'm not a Sony pony. I'm more of a Nintendo fan. Somebody cut his goddamn mic off right now. But PS4 has knocked it out of the park this generation. Z know that I've been wanting to get on Xbox One, get an Xbox One for Gears, Ori, and pre 2017 scale pound. And my man Mighty Moss shows up with the foolery. The fuck with Rand. Don't listen to Rand. Since Rand don't listen to Z, he still plays on the 360 with a 5 memory card. Yeah, right. The memory cards and shit. Okay. The vision of what it should be. All right. And moving forward, we're gonna get to the juicy stuff. The vision of what it should be, but what was wrong with what it was. And like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You understand what I'm saying?
But see, we don't know any of their balance sheets. If for all we know, it could have been broke.
Just looking back at the 360, and again, that was a very successful console generation. You went from selling 25 million console the generation before, right? So then with 95, 90 whatever million.
Yeah, Microsoft never made money on the original Xbox.
No, because
they lost a ton of money.
Yeah, with the
360 out of the gate, they lost something like $2 billion because of all that stuff.
Yeah, the Red Ring of Death.
There's people out there like Paul Theroux, who has basically said Xbox has never made a cent in profit ever.
I find that a little hard to believe what Xbox Live knows.
Hard to believe too, but you got to keep in mind the reason Xbox exists in the first place was because they were worried that Sony was going to
take over the living rooms. Yes,
and they needed to block that.
Yeah,
and essentially when that didn't happen, when that was like, okay, that's not a threat anymore, and all them kind of stopped caring about the system. And then when the new CEO came in, I don't think Satya saw any use for Xbox. He probably came in, he's like, what are we doing with Xbox? He asked his boss, Terry Myerson, about it. Myerson's like, it's too expensive. We're not making any money. It's not helping Windows 10 or whatever. Because like Satya's the cloud guy, right? He's the... So to him and his future of what Microsoft should be, like, it's vision of what because you look at Ballmer was about bringing customers to you, right, to your hardware. You need to bring customers to your stuff. Everything was based around that. Satya's vision is you need to go where the customers are. Just 365 on iOS and Android. We want everybody to play and use our services. We'll let anybody sign up for Azure. That's the difference between the two. And it's kind of reflected with Xbox. To be console, it used to be, if you wanted to play Halo, the only place to play Halo is on the console.
Okay. But
this is what Xbox needs to do to survive, although it kind of is. This is more like Xbox is finally falling in line with what the vision of the current CEO has in mind.
Okay.
They look at his Xbox as a platform now, and the console is one entry into said platform.
Into the ecosystem. I get that, right?
PC, you have the mobile, you have all these different facets of what they're trying to do.
Okay.
So...
And listen, I understand that, you know what I mean? And maybe I'm trying to look through the world through the peephole, right? Through a keyhole, right? But I'm looking at it again because, and I'm just being honest, and... You're talking to a guy. Now, I'm gonna say this. He said, "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie." Rand. We're what you call the hardcore, right? You know what I mean?
Yep.
If I don't, if we play 2 hours a game a day, we are considered the hardcore. We get all the games. We keep our finger on the pulse. What's coming out? What gaming? This, that, and the other. The casual and casuals outnumber us 10-1. It's the hardcore that's going to be there day one with their $500 in hand, standing out there at midnight to buy this console, right?
That's the casuals that made the PlayStation 4 as popular as it is.
Yes, you know what I mean. But I say that to say this, right? I noticed, I say maybe the right and the wrong on the wall, with the whole, and it's nigga that they always make me being a PC zealot, but we're just, even shout out to my man, what's my man Blackley, the original of the Xbox. I haven't spoken to him in a minute. Seamus Blackley, right? He had an article where Bill said, you know what, he wanted to find his way to merge the PC and the console thing. And even he said, hey, bro, not hey, bro, but I'm saying, we're just two different consumers, you know what I mean? Even when he said the whole plane, like, I just look at them just taking value, you know what I mean, from, I still stand by this. Maybe you may feel different. I believe it's exclusives that gives us a console its identity, you know what I mean? Was it power that sold at the beginning of the generation? Of course, you know what I mean? Microsoft dropped the ball. You had a more expensive box that was less powerful than a cheaper box, and for the first time ever that I can recall, that resolution and frame rates was at the forefront. You know what I mean? People can try to deny it now, but shit. I remember, you know what I mean? I was out there fighting.
I remember. Power was the big talking point at the beginning of this.
Power was good. I'm gonna say this again. I can't tell the difference between native 1080p, upscale 1080p, dynamic 4K, native 4K. I can't. You know what I mean?
You know what? I used to be like that, but then I got an OLED. I got a 55 inch.
I got an OLED too,
OLED,
but
right?
I'm just saying. But
dude, I'm telling you, I loaded up Rage 2 on that motherfucker, and I'm like, this game looks bad. And then I load up something else that's in 4K. I'm like, this looks really fucking good.
Now, is that because of the graphics or because again, resolution is not graphics.
Because it's like a 1080p image blown up to like that 55 inch screen. Like, it just doesn't look good. You can see like imperfections. You can see like.
I'm not. Listen,
I don't know. I'm not that technical to be able to explain it, but trust me.
What you're saying. I'm not. I'm saying what was explained to me by a developer. Even somebody over there in Redmond, he shall remain nameless. But resolution gives you a sharper image. It's the textures and shaders basically what gives you the graphics. You know what I mean? And I even think that resolution got kind of intermingled with graphics and the same thing. But it's cool. I've always had a decent TV, but I say that to say this, right? You know what I mean? So you had that going for you, with the whole. The $500 or $400 thing, and then again, Microsoft messaging this generation, you know what I mean, was just, even with the always online, I didn't have a problem with it. I got it, but I think they had a piss poor way in explaining it. I don't think nobody really now complained about always
online. Marketing was horrible. Their marketing was
but just the messaging,
horrible.
Them explaining.
Yeah, the messaging, the marketing.
You know what I mean? It was, and again, I don't know, when you had this great team with the 360. As far as marketing, I heard Sony hired their firm and then to where they are now. I'm going to be honest with you. The last great commercial that I can really recall from the 360 was, not the 360, was the Xbox One, was the launch one with the Roman street, the guys in the street marching. And you had the Forza car, you had the big Titan bust through the window, you know what I mean, through the broom, you know what I mean? And then they had other commercials since then, but that was like a great commercial, you know what I mean? And, Sony always knocks it out of the parts with their commercial, you know what I mean? And I just, this whole thing changed. And like you said, you broke up Quantum Break, and again, that was the last, outside of Gears, Forza, and Halo, that I can really remember a AAA game that them releasing. Let me play this bill right quick before I ask you a question. Shout out to my brother, Harry Halim, haven't spoken to you in a minute. So the low-budget Ben Studio had in their disposal, I need to give me some goddamn glasses. Low-budget Ben Studio had in their disposal to put into the development for a new, unproven new IP and then develop it on Unreal Engine 4, which is trash for open world game. It's an achievement alone. Okay, he want to give them a participation trophy, but shout out to him. Shout out to my brother Top Dog, man. Why people forget the only reason the 360 was a success because the PS3 was $200 more, and a year late they got lucky. I gotta disagree with that, Top Dog. The 360 was a success because pricing was a good thing, and they had games. You got to realize this. I don't know where you were, Ram, but the first time you playing Gears of War, bro, and I seen that motherfucker run up the steps with the chainsaw. Like that shit was iconic. I understand it came out a year before, but and again for the pricing for that console to be $600, we talking about visually. We judge games by what we see. It to me, and so I got it. When I think it was to a lot of the gamers, it didn't, how you say, warrant a $200 price. And again, Sony didn't have their big games there until the end of the generation. I think that again had a lot to do with it, and also too, in the online. I don't know if you guys got a PS3 day one like I did, but there was no party chats, there was no stores. Like it was missing a whole lot. Like the PlayStation ecosystem has came a long way from the launch of the PlayStation 3. Like literally, even if you had I had a 1080i TV, old school, right? Before I got my 1080p joint, it didn't even support 1080i. So I got the $600 console would downgrade the signal to 480p. You know what I mean? It was a lot of shit like that. You know what I mean? Sony had a lot of things going wrong for it at the start of the generation. But again, you got to realize the Xbox 360 had a lot of great games, at the start of the generation, for them, the Ninja Gaidens, all that shit back then was, BioShock. All those games were exclusive back then. Even Mass Effect, the first one. They had a lot of great exclusive content, was exclusive to them right then. That's just my opinion. Maybe you might feel different, Rand, or whatever, but
there's this. Obviously Sony wanted Blu-ray to take off, so they made the system so expensive. They thought their fans would buy it, right? We gotta keep in mind, like PlayStation 1, 100 million console, like 100 million console sold. PlayStation 2, 150 million.
Sitting, I'm sorry,
it would do the same, right? Like, it, and the fact that of Sony eventually, when the gen was over, was equal to, even though they got destroyed in North America, worldwide. Which I made a video about this, about why I think no matter what really happens, PlayStation 5 will easily beat the next Xbox, because PlayStation is just a bigger worldwide gaming brand. To a lot of people, PlayStation is gaming. We could talk about like how the cell processor was a bitch to develop for, so a lot of devs couldn't get their games running on the PS3 early, so that left a lot of de facto exclusives. Like Saints Row was exclusive, Ghost Recon was exclusive, Oblivion was exclusive. They had BioShock 1 as a timed exclusive for a bit. Like the Mass Effect games, like Microsoft have a bevy of third-party exclusives on the 360, simply because those developers couldn't get the game running well. And when they did, a game like Bayonetta was horrible on the PlayStation 3. So the de facto way to play it was the Xbox 360. So Microsoft had a lot of advantages. Obviously, things changed. Sony got their first party in order. They started doing the Uncharted games, Killzone games, the Infamous games. And your boy, Donnie D, started to focus more on casual Connect garbage.
Yeah, listen, to be fair, they at the last a year or two of the 360 life cycle, it was Connect heavy in focus, but the Connect, it broke records, made a lot of, because of the success with the Wii. You know what I mean?
Everybody saw that and wanted. That's what it's all about, man. This industry is copycat. They see other people and being successful and making a bunch of money. They have to make money. So Sony copied them with the Move. Microsoft copied them with the Kinect. Fortnite or PUBG is super popular, and all of a sudden everybody's got to have a battle royale game. It's cyclical, man. Everybody, you see something doing well, you copy it. That's just how this video game industry
I just want to say one thing to some of you guys, not new, but here's a way, again, if you guys wanted to help support the show. I just left a link. You can send me. This is the mobile link. If you're on your cell phone, you can send me a message right now. It's like a super chat, but it doesn't cost you a goddamn dime. Your message will appear on the screen like everyone else's, and I can answer your question live on air. That's like another way. Like I said, you want to see an ad, but you're going to see an ad maybe for a PC or something, for a gaming rig that's going to show up on the screen. But you can support the show also by leaving a message. It's not going to cost you anything. No money, no nothing. Absolutely free. So it's going to be a little ad that's going to show up. That's going to help support the show. And that's all. You can. People ask me for the mobile link. That's the mobile link right there. There's a mobile link in the piece. I'm sorry, not to get off the air, but I'm sorry. But anyway, here's the link again. I'll be leaving throughout the show. You can send me a message right now live. It'll appear on the show. It's free. It's like a super chat, but you don't have to pay shit. It's absolutely free. Hold on, let me ask you this question right quick. El Matter said Peter Moore was the best that happened to the 360. Yeah, Petty, I don't know I haven't spoken to Peter Moore in a while. I spoke to him a few years ago. Peter Moore, okay, a trip down memory lane. The height of the 360, you know what I mean? I know you have the Donnie D haters, or or what Donnie D did, or whatever the case may be.
I can't stand the guy.
I know, and I get pegged as being a Donnie D fanboy, right? But I just look at it like this, right? And you said the head rots from the fish rots from the head back. I stole that quote from Moss, right? Under Donnie D, right? And I understand that I'm not saying Donnie D was perfect, right? But the Xbox had great marketing, right? We're getting AAA exclusives, had true exclusives, you know what I mean? And then he left and all that shit went away. Now we could say, well, but again, and another thing, people like to give Phil credit for the thing. He didn't want to sign though, because even back then, I was out there selling DirectX 12 in my ass. I didn't understand how Microsoft spent $1.3 billion with AMD and walked away with the weaker hardware. But I didn't know at the time, I didn't know what an SoC was. That covered multiple chips for for what came out to be the Xbox One X or whatever the fuck. Those chips were signed. That deal was signed away in 2012. But not to get off on that, but it's not even about that. But so again, just sad to say. And Rand, maybe I know if you're okay with Phil. With whatever Phil doesn't like, I always got to give this disclaimer. I don't have a problem with Phil, but if Phil, God forbid, was to be demised right now, right, and on his tombstone, and he say of accomplishment when it comes to gaming, right? I know Phil gets the humanitarian award of being a great guy. I don't like joining his parties because I got a potty mouth, and I heard he doesn't really curse. But when it comes to gaming, God forbid if he was to pass away right now, only thing I can attribute to Phil was what Voodoo Vince, Phantom Dust with the original accident, Zoo Tycoon. You understand? You understand what I'm going? You know what I mean? So
I get it.
So and again, and it's not like Phil was the janitor. He's been in this building for a long time.
Look, I put a lot of blame on Donnie and Meyerson, but Phil himself has even said he deserves a lot of blame. He was at those tape meetings and didn't say anything. But, the leadership all deserves blame.
Even Donnie been gone since 2014, 2013.
No,
Phil's been the boss for 5 years now.
No, there was that whole thing where Crackdown came out and it was like, well, this is the Don Matrick game or whatever. And it's like, well,
Crackdown.
Well, I remember people saying that, sure, okay, Crackdown was greenlit under Donnie, right? Well, see, here's the thing. Well,
hey, Brad, you gotta remember, bro. This is a drug-free environment.
All right.
Anything you say today will be used against you in a later show.
I'll say.
Okay.
So it's like, kind of come to the conclusion of who's in charge of what, right? So Don Matrick gave us Rise and Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break and all the good games that most people would say from this generation, right?
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is those are Phil's games. But then Phil also gave us Sea of Thieves and State of Decay and Crackdown.
Ooh.
Who signed those games? They're his games. If you want to give credit to Donnie for Rise, you're giving it to the wrong person. But if you want to give, the blame to Crackdown to Donnie, you're giving it to the wrong person. The blame squarely lies with Phil on that one. You know what I mean?
Like I said, he's been gone for.
I know, and trust me, there was a lot of shit that happened. Look at. I think I saw an article today about Crackdown 3's multiplayer being a ghost town.
Yeah.
Multiplayer wasn't canceled, and they just released it as that single player thing for $20.
Let's
Probably
talk about
is the way
it.
they should have done it.
How does that even happen? Because even your man, and I know I bust. Jazz, I'm a bad. Listen, Jazz, this is an olive branch. Jazz, your boy hates my guts, right? But this is even he went out there and slammed me, right? And again, I said, and what was told to me, Rand. I always say this, right? Rand, you can never be wrong about your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion, right? And I've always said this. Well, I know my integrity is always in question, right? Jackie the joke man. I have no reason to lie about video games, and you should know that you're part. Whatever. since I've been doing YouTube, I've always kind of rubbed elbows with the upper echelons, and I've met, know some. I would say I know some people that know some people, people within the industry, right? And I had two people that I can confirm that were developers or whatever you want to call working on the game. I mean, my right hand, the guy, I'm not lying. You can ask the Mashlin, Garrett, and all those guys because I showed them the DMs. Was some of them that was saying to me. You know what I mean? So even with that, I sat on that for a while. I didn't even say anything about wait. Sometimes it's a slow news week, and I brought it out because I knew people were holding on to Crackdown as being when Crackdown the fully crowd discussion. And I said even over a year ago, this is not what you guys think it's going to be. You know what I mean? And Jazz went out there with the article, called me out, said I'm full of shit. But whatever the fuck the case may be, then he turned around and gives us a 66 when he reviewed, which is cool. I'm not even trying to bust his balls. I'm not going to be messy, right? But I said that then, you know what I mean? Like, this is what the developers, actually it was three. One guy was like a tester. I couldn't confirm that he worked on the game, but the other two showed credentials, you know what I mean? And I never claimed to be an industry insider. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like I always said too, I never gave a fuck about who made the game. So even then I was saying Crackdown is not what you guys think it's going to be, you know what I mean? And we're thinking about Microsoft. Look at this, right? We're talking about $1 trillion goddamn company. You have a game that's been in production for 4 to 5 years. You were saying how Sony, makes their games 4 to 5 years. They're taking, and then for even filling them to say that they want Crackdown to sit alongside of Gears, Forza, and Halo. Where the fuck is the quality control? Excuse my French. How could you release a game, your Xbox Live, with no game part? Like, how does that even happen? Now Donnie D is gone. We can't, Like, how does this even happen?
I think they were stuck between a rock and a hard place with Crackdown, to be honest with you, because it took the Fallout hit for canceling Scalebound and shutting down Lionhead and getting rid of Fable, right?
Yeah.
It'd take another one for here's Crackdown that we announced in 2014 and it's canceled.
Okay.
So I think they just went along with it. Not Cloud Tech from CloudGen, and then CloudGen got bought up by Epic, right? This is what I was told. Happened. Development on the multiplayer cloud stuff started from scratch because Microsoft made the choice that they either didn't want to or weren't going to use any of the technology that CloudGen had built for them. So they basically had started over development. And what we ended up with, Multiplayer Wrecking Zone, was just a shell of what was promised. So I almost think they should have just canceled the multiplayer portion of Crackdown 3.
How about the whole game?
You could have released Crackdown 3, that campaign, as a $20 thing. People would have been fine with it. I mean, it's basically a remastered version of Crackdown 1.
Yeah, okay. Hold on one second. Let me pay the bills real quick. Shout out to my man Benjamin Fraser for the $1. I appreciate it. I got to read some of the free loot messages. Shout out to Rafiza. She said, hey. Shout out to my brother Noah, Broadband Bully. He got his whole name, Noah J. Osborne III. There was 3 of these ugly motherfuckers running around the world. He said, yo, Peter Mo was the climax of Xbox. The success of the Wii put Microsoft in that on that super casual path. Okay. Now, again, like I'm saying, I'm sorry, not to fuck up the flow of the show. Guys, if you want to send me a message just like they did just now, it won't cost you a dime. It's free. Here's the link right here. And again, you're helping support the show. That's the mobile. If you're on your cell phone, that's the mobile link right there. And, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. And if you're, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but so, like I said, I look at it like this, right? As what you say, as being like quality control. I look at it like, if the game, I wouldn't release a game like that. Because the reason why I say that, because I even said this is doing more harm than good. You know what I mean? Again, you had the Kraken that was lacking, then you went from the Kraken that was lacking, you went to State of Decay 2, next week, like I said again, was Crackdown 3. It's like, and I said this again, like they can't afford another 60 rated goddamn game. You understand what I'm saying? So, and it's sad to say again, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the Xbox One X is probably the best console there is. Like, graphics look great, and
it's a damn good console.
With the audio and all that stuff, I think it's dope. And again, someone get into the other stuff about E3 and stuff, but how do they even release a console? Just think about this, right? a $500 console. They released that shit on the side of Zoo Tycoon and Disney Bros. I think the first game that's going to probably take advantage of the exclusive wise, that's going to take advantage of the X is the Gears of War 5, which was releasing 2 years later.
I think Forza Horizon 4 is a pretty good.
Okay, but outside of Forza, but it's a car game. You know what I mean? A niche game,
yeah.
but just really gonna, just look to like what Sony's doing with Gears, or shit. You seen the Gears? I'm sorry, you seen the Last of Us 2 trailer? Jokers was no, there's no way. That's PlayStation 5. Sony's cheating again. You know what I mean? That's how good that shit. Look, here it is again. I have the world's most powerful console. So how about this, Rand? Let me ask you a question, right? I'm gonna put you in the hot seat right here. You ready for this?
Yeah, hit me.
Okay, and this is coming from a guy, right? And how you say, quote unquote, I got 99.9% of you motherfuckers still running around with my slogans today. Bleed green, right? From a joker that bled green before you guys rendered me unconscious in front of my wife and child and kicked my black ass out of the community, right? Let me choose my words wisely, right? So when I look at that, this leading up to, like I'm saying, again, maybe Microsoft ain't never been the most talented, right? Being honest here, right? Because I got a lot of backlash, which I didn't understand. I don't know if you had a conversation about this. Remember I started to talk when I said, what would you like to see 343 make outside of Halo? Remember I started that conversation? What would you like to see the Coalition make outside of Gears? Or what would you like to see Turn 10 make outside of Forza, right? And shout out to my brother Southbound. I spoke to South, I think either yesterday or before yesterday. And he can tell you, if he remember, he wasn't high as hell like me. I said to him, bro, this conversation I had with South goes back to about 2016, right? I said that Microsoft, I said this then, they put themselves in a very dangerous position because only thing they were guaranteed to get is a Gears, Forza, and Halo. You know what I mean? I said this to this back then, you know what I mean? I said these studios are too big and Microsoft had much money. You look at a studio like Naughty Dog, whether you like these games or not, whether they're single player games, that they can give you an Uncharted, that they can give you a The Last of Us 2. They took 10 people from the game and started them on The Last of Us 2. Last of Us, I'm sorry. It can arguably be said that The Last of Us may have been a bigger franchise at the time than Uncharted was, right? So why can't Microsoft do the same thing? You know what I mean? Like, what they over 500 people there at 343? And listen, check this out, Ram. And I said this also to in one of the shows, right? And I remember crapping those guys arguing me down, like, no, that you don't want a B team working on it. We need this, that, and the other. And I'm like, maybe they ain't never been the most talented. And this was, I'm not going to say anyone's name, but this came from someone in Reddit. The exact words to me says, Zaire, I didn't put myself $100,000 in debt. 2 words, I'm paraphrasing here, to make it just so that I can make a car game going around the track, right? So now we hear that Playground games. Well, I don't know what's the Playground games else they made besides Forza Horizon. That's all that I know them for. They're rumored to be working on the next Fable game. You know what I mean? What is it you think with Microsoft? Because that won't let their developers create or go out there and be artists. Because that was one of the rips they had with Bungie. They wanted to do Destiny, and you can arguably say, well, you love Destiny or not. That was one of the biggest multiplats this generation. That could have been exclusive to your platform. It might even change to the terms of this generation. You know what I mean? Not letting them want them to create. What do you think it is when it comes with Microsoft with this?
I think Microsoft, they view this as a business. Like, okay, the biggest problem I've had with Microsoft for the longest time, even extending into last generation, was their small first-party studio, right? You got the screen up on here with Nadella and Yoshida shaking hands, right? Mm-hmm. But their first party for a long time was literally just 343, the Coalition, Turn 10, Rare. Their strategy was, okay, we're going to keep it low. We have Halo, we have Gears, we can release them 360, and because we're winning, we can sign contracts with other developers to make, exclusives for us, right? And they tried doing the same thing. 343 is making Halo, Coalition's making Gears, Minecraft is Minecraft, right? Turn 10's going to do Forza. But they relied on mental help because it's easier to just buy a game than it is to create a studio and fill it with talent, because that takes it's just more expensive. So to them, as a business, it's just easier to pay the makers of Sunset Overdrive, Insomniac, $50 million to give us Sunset Overdrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just easier to give Crytek to build a game for you, right? It's easier to do that than it is to build a new studio like Initiative and do all that stuff or acquire new studios. But that strategy completely blew up in their face this gen, right? PlayStation was more powerful and cheaper, so they got the user base. Games started selling better on the PlayStation. Their bets with on Platinum Games and Scalebound canceled, didn't come to fruition, right? The fact that they wanted to do a sequel but couldn't, and we never got a Rise 2. Them not going fast enough in greenlighting a sequel to Sunset Overdrive, which caused basically them to go make Spider-Man for Sony, right? Or basically Quantum Break 2, turning that down, forcing Remedy to go multi-platform. So their strategy, which worked for them in the 360, blew up in their face this gen, paying Sumo Digital to make Crackdown 3, which was a horror story. Mm-hmm. So what did Microsoft have to do? You had to build out your studios, just like Sony did last generation and generations before, so you can have studios, fill them with quality talent to make games for you. Now, it's no surprise that the Initiative is based in Santa Monica, because what else is based around Santa Monica? You have Sony Santa Monica, you have Naughty Dog, you have tons of talent based around there. And what do you see almost every single week from the Initiative? They're taking somebody from Naughty Dog, they're taking somebody from Sony Santa Monica, they're taking somebody over here. Talent. And that's exactly why the Initiative is placed where it is. That's why Obsidian, Microsoft felt comfortable buying them, because they're close by, so they can fill up these studios with the talent needed to create the experiences that people want.
All right, let me pay these bills right quick. I'm sorry. Go.
As I say, it finally took them getting destroyed this gen to reevaluate what they were doing. So instead of relying on mercenary developers to create games for you, that you have to build out your first party content.
Okay.
So, I
get that. Hold on, I want to ask you. Shout out to my brother Post Up. Happy belated birthday. Say, Z, what up, bro? I see you got Ran with the original assets. LOL. Great show, guys. Keep up the great work. Ran, don't let this pony. Don't let up on his pony. Shout out to my brother Tavion Paris. With the recent news of the PlayStation 5 specs, do you still think the next Xbox will be more powerful? We're going to get into the next generation talk in 1 second. Finish what you were saying about that. Aran, finish your thought. I'm going to hop into next
generation. For me, I'm just happy Microsoft realized finally that they needed to build a first-party studio. And this is Phil talk. Remember Phil? He went on E3 and he said they wanted to build an industry-leading first-party studio stable. That's his words, not mine. I didn't say that stuff. He's saying that stuff, right? So, in my opinion, you're gonna get more games than ever from Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, there'll be games that you're gonna want to play. I don't know, but there's definitely gonna be more games to play. Starting with next generation than there ever was exclusively. Well, I say exclusively, but Xbox is everywhere, as you well know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Sony's copying Microsoft, or Microsoft is copying Sony, rather.
Let me pay the bills right quick. Shout out to my brother, the graphics guy, who sent the message via the free message app on this, help support the show. He said, "Graphic God, what's up, my brother? What style of game does Microsoft need to develop as a new IP to get next gen confidence back in Xbox?" Good question. And shout out to my brother, the Dark Lord Fusion. Good show so far. Ran and Z. He said, what type of game does Microsoft have to make to get me back on the Xbox hype train to have me out there dropping megatons 3 o'clock in the morning like my brother Crap? Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this again, and I'm gonna get your question. What they need from you? I don't know if you maybe have lost any confidence, or are you still riding high? Shout out to my brother Top Dog for the $1. What's his name? Restaurant Hayes. Like if Phoenix PlayStation had to rise up from the failures, and now it's Xbox turn. This is what I need from Microsoft, and I've been saying this all along, right? I'm not a Halo guy, right? I'm not even a big Forza guy, right? But I understand those games are huge, and they're done well, and they have a huge one. I would like to see at least 2 to 3 new IPs done to the level of a Gears, Forza, and a Halo. You know what I mean? That to me, that's a step in the right direction. You know what I mean?
You
Because
said Fable's your thing,
oh
right?
yeah, Fable.
Dude,
Fable.
when you see that new Fable game, you're gonna be like, contract. Sign me that contract.
Yeah. No, and again, I can't wait. Like to me, I think even though we didn't get the game, Fable Legends was one of the prettiest looking games. I didn't like that whole. You take the become the bad guy. I think that shit was stupid. They can just take those assets there and add a story to it. It'd been fucking fine. But that's what I need to see from Microsoft going forward. Again, you know what I mean? Something. And again, I've and all right, shit. And again, maybe it had no trick because it's all that we have. But I'm just saying, better quality control. Okay, I'm not gonna be messy. I don't know what I would like to see better quality control over there at Microsoft, right? Because somebody at the end of the day got to be looking at. Somebody had to see State of Decay 2, right? You know what I mean? A prominent online game should have been on dedicated goddamn server. We've seen the issues with it, and they were saying this was a AAA goddamn game. You know what I mean? And say, hey, maybe this is not it because this is my opinion. Maybe you may feel different. Rand. I feel like again, them releasing games like that does more harm than good. You see
Yeah,
the memes?
them releasing poorly critically received games is a detriment. Like the meme about Xbox 69s or 68s, like
69.
that's not a good thing, and that's on Microsoft. That's on their developmental pipeline. That's what they had. Like
They got too much money
it's
for that
on
bullshit, Rand.
it's on them to be better, right?
Yeah.
Like it's on them to make better games. So I think what most people want is they just want great games from Microsoft. They want to see Ninja Theory come out with a game that is good. They want to see Playground Games come out with something that's good. They want to see Compulsion Games and Obsidian and all these studios put out quality titles, even if it's not necessarily AAA. As long as like the game's good, because in my opinion, you look at that list, Compulsion Games is not going to be making a AAA game, right?
No,
I think they'll be making a smaller title.
And listen, Rand, and not to be, those games have their place. Those are what you call filler.
They have their place.
Yeah, but the problem once again, even with shit, that's all that we have. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with those games. Everything gonna have to be a $100 million goddamn game. You have those games like it's little side games. So like I look at a game like Ori, or even a game like Cuphead. You know what I mean? And it's sad to say, and again, I think Cuphead is probably the best game to release on Xbox. Better than any. That was a $20 title in a couple years. You know what I mean? Outside of Gears of Force and Halo, right? Everything don't have to be like that. You have your places for the Cupheads or the Oris. That's fine. That is what you call filler. But we haven't had anything else. So the problem here lays, and I know why would you compare Sea of Thieves to God of War? They're two different art styles. I'm going to knock your black ass out, right? But what else am I going to compare it to? You understand what I'm saying, Rand? I know I'm being funny. You know what I mean? I'm doing smack. You know what I mean?
I've been vocal about my displeasure with Microsoft's last 2 years.
You know what I mean?
Like people threw me out of the Xbox community. I remember when I called Crackdown 3 an abortion.
Wait! I ain't know they snapped. I thought that was just me. I mean, like them after then. Jeez, they pulled your card too.
Yeah, I had tons of Xbox fans being like, that turn on me, and then they came back. Like, I don't know, for whatever it is. Like, I'm an Xbox guy, right? But I'm not going to tell you everything is roses. If something's wrong, I'll be critical of it. If there's something I like, it's my opinion. I like it. Like, I think the direction I'm excited to see the direction with all these new studios and all these new games, because that's the one thing I've always just the most important thing to me was games, right? So the last 2 years have been shit on the games front, and I'm gonna say that like Microsoft needs to do better. And I look at like, okay, here's the investment in new studios. We're looking to do more. The games will come. Yeah, like I'm excited for it, and I mean like happy waiting, but I know the Initiatives game is going to take time. It's going to take time to make, so I understand that. And I'm not going to sit up here and all of a sudden just be like, well, we haven't had a new IP announcement in 4 years. I know we haven't had a new IP announcement in 3 years. Like, I know the last 2 years has been terrible. I suddenly just not going to wake up one day and be like, wow, what?
Okay.
Microsoft needs to do better. They clearly know they need to do better.
Okay, listen, all right. No, listen, and again, before you move the conversation on, because I still want to get into E3 and I want to get into next generation talk. But here's my notion, right? And I don't know why they won't do it, because you are Microsoft, right? I'm just from the mind they shouldn't end the generation on such a low note, right? But in between the Horizon Zero Dawns and you had the second party stuff like Nier Automata. Why Microsoft won't go out there and buy a multiplayer or something, and make an exclusive or something. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, to me, I just look at it, just giving up. Like, man, like, God.
Because they tried that. They bought a year exclusivity of Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I don't think that worked out as well. So for them, if you look at Microsoft and what they're doing, because I have seen people say this. You aren't the first person to say that. Like, why not just, instead of buying compulsion, you bought them with and buying exclusive? But the thing is, the money for a compulsion will give you a studio that's going to make you multiple games. If you just buy one game with the money that compulsion gives you now, it's not going to really do much. And Microsoft is definitely also more interested in Game Pass. So necessarily they wouldn't want the money to buy an exclusive. They would want to use that money to get that game on Game Pass.
Okay.
Like their business model going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So the Microsoft on making our own studios to provide our own content, and then getting exclusives for Game Pass. So when you have Just Cause 4 come in 3 months later, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and all these games that launch day one, like that's what's important to Microsoft, because that's the way they're going down in the future. At least that's the way I read it. I mean,
okay, hold on. Let me pay these bills because we can move on because I want to get into the other juicy shit. Let me hop on. My man Andre Marcellus has sent me a message for me, the free app. Lucy said, great show as usual. My brother Heath Stevens, he said here, Z, it's been reported that Microsoft looks over game developers' shoulders and force them to add in things they don't want to. I'm going to add something to that. My man Jawan, he said, hey, 1,000 bits, shout out to you. Hold on, let me get these other bills. Hold on, because I'm going to add something. That was a good question, Steve. Heath Stevens. My brother AP the Shooter, he said, I love new tech. So does it mean I should still cop the new Xbox because it'd be techie? Part of me wants to, but the logical side of me says, hell no. Until I get something, no gaming company doesn't have. Hold up, this is more in here. It's a lot. I can't see. Okay, hold on, let me scroll up. Right. Hey, my man Ruben Burke, he said, I need 4 new exclusive IPs, tighter development, Xbox, and it kind of at $400. That's not happening. xCloud open test date, release date for Gears 5 and VR support. I got some more stuff in here. Hold up. Shout out to my brother, None of Your Business. I think that's my man Trunks. Shout out to None of Your Business for the $2. El Matador, he said here that Ghost of Tsushima is better than Last of 2, greater than Last of 2. Sucker Punch has evolved. I don't know, man. I just hope the Ghost of Tsushima is not like what's that goddamn game that just came out that was hard as hell, the Dark Souls.
Sekiro.
Yeah, Shadows Die Twice. I hope it's not like that. I'm not, what I mean. It looks pretty as all hell, you know what I mean. But we shall see. We shall see. Hold up. I'm gonna ask. We got a lot of good questions here. I'll let you tackle some of these. He says, Heath Stevens says he has been reported that Microsoft looks over game development shoulders and forces them to add things they don't want to. I'm gonna say this to add to this. One of the developers actually 2 of them were saying the same thing. They were working on the Crackdown 3. They went to Microsoft with ideas to make it a true, quote unquote, maybe a next generation form of maybe being a Crackdown. Because to me, Crackdown 3 is nothing but like a remastered Crackdown 2, right? Didn't really do too much, you know what I mean? And Microsoft shot them down, you know what I mean? Maybe money wise, whatever the case may be, but I've heard that in the past. The question that my man from AP the Shooter said, he always talks about how he likes tech. Should he just get the Xbox that's gonna be techie? You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about it? Like, me personally, I'm gonna own everything. I'm a huge Gears of War fan. What would you say to somebody like AP the Shooter that that maybe have lost faith in Microsoft and because of what's been going on in the last 3 years, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be? We know the next box. This is going to lead us into the next generation talk. Is going to be powerful. Like, what would you say to somebody like him, Rand?
I mean, basically, you'll have to wait and see what Microsoft. I don't know what game. I mean, it all comes down to the games. Like if you like what Microsoft is, if you like what they're showing,
but they haven't. Okay, Rand. They don't show shit.
And yeah, that's a problem too. And I don't really expect them to show that much at E3 this year.
So, but like, I don't, like, bro, like, and that's why I says Phil a goddamn double agent. Like, what is going on here? And listen, this one thing, that's why, it's, as far as, I mean, and I'm not about crap, I'm not going to be messy, but when those guys did damage control, it's not about Sony showing games 2-3 years out. I remember that E3 again, 2016, from Sony. That shit blew my mind. You know what I mean? Why? Because I didn't expect to see God of War or, Spike. I mean, that shit came out of nowhere. I didn't care if it was coming out in 2025. It gets your fans and stuff invested and happy and don't have a problem in investing to the ecosystem. You know what I mean? Like, it gets me excited about the future. So I never understood what Xbox guys were trying to damage control. Microsoft's not going to show you nothing 2 years from now. That's not the issue of them showing games being delayed. Rand, that's a part of the industry. It was happening.
Games get delayed all the time.
Yeah, but the problem was that we had cancellations of Scalebound or Fable and had nothing to replace those games. Now, a game being canceled and a game being delayed is two different. That's not even the same goddamn sandwich. You know what I mean? So, and again, I don't understand why they even do these shows or even like Inside Xbox. I really don't know. You know what I mean? And they're talking about again games that we already have. You know what I mean? Give us a glimpse into the future. You know what I mean? And, to get guys. Let me tell you something. It's bad when you lose a guy like me, who came out. Look, bro, like I said before, Rand, I was the first person of color to lose my life in the console war. I was out there, motherfucker, beating my motherfucking chest with a sword in one hand and the shield in the other, screaming, "Cream in the North." You know what I mean? Bend the knee. You know what I mean? Like, my Microsoft. To have me looking at you like, I mean, bro, what the hell's going on here? And that's not an easy thing to do. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, and it's not to say that I like all the type of games that Sony releases. I don't, but I do. I've always given credit to Sony and Nintendo. They do a great job at catering to their fan base and their core. And that's the last thing, so we're going to switch it. But like I just think that Microsoft does a horrible job in catering to their core. You understand? What's the Xbox? It was known as the shooter box, right?
Shooter box.
Okay. How does you release the X, which I think they didn't have an exclusive, but the holiday season, you let Sony go out there and hustle you and get the big shooters. You know what I mean? Advertising it. You understand what I'm saying? You're known for being the shooter box. The racer, the dude bro box or whatever the fuck. Like, it's like, again, whether you choose to like Sony has took in Microsoft identity. This is how you say, how Crap said, stole a stick. This was just stick. You know what I mean? You can say what you want about Call of Duty. But it's still going to sell like in boatloads. How does Sony go out there every holiday season and get the bigger multiplats? You understand what I'm saying? And get exclusive content for them. They just totally, just went away from all that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So
that basically just comes down to money. And also, you got to look at it as a two-way street sometimes, right?
Okay.
Think about it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want to associate Call of Duty with? PlayStation, the #1 worldwide leader in gaming, or Xbox, the second place? Companies, they want to associate themselves with the winner and the best. It's not that Sony necessarily offers more. It's just that for Activision, it's like, we're going to go on PlayStation because PlayStation is #1, just like last gen. Xbox #1, Activision's there. There's some of that that goes into it as well. And yeah, some of it's strictly about money. Maybe Microsoft didn't feel spending took on Red Dead Redemption 2 was worth it, right? Maybe who knows? Who knows the financials of it? But I agree, Microsoft has a marketing problem they need to fix.
Mm-hmm.
They have a game problem which to fix.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem still is, and we talk about like what is someone who lost faith in the Xbox brand, what do they need to do? Like, problem is all this stuff, and I remember I told you this, said everything they're doing is for the future. It's not for this gen, it's for next generation, right? I told you, what did I tell you? Like, I literally told you, like, there's going to be on phone, it's going to be on PC, and then, like, literally a week later, it was.
Ass out. You don't lie! You lying, motherfucker! Like, you got that. I ain't want to believe it, bro. I ain't want to believe it. Yeah.
You're going. So the problem is Microsoft's in a situation where next gen is like still a year and a half away, right? Some of these games, like the Initiative game, is years from now. Fable. So it's like I said in my podcast on the other day. I said what I want from Microsoft this year is we know you're gonna give us Gears and Halo, right? Understandable. They're the two biggest franchises. They mean the most to you. I get it. They have to be there. I understand that. More, right? I understand Ori 2 is going to be there. That's great. And Ninja Theory, their new IP is going to be there as well, right? I need to see Fable. I need to see what Playground Games is working on. You need to let people kind of throw this back to E3 2016 for Sony. The reason Sony fans were so happy with what Sony was doing, let them know, even though they didn't know it at the time, this is what we're working on for the entire rest of the generation. God of War to look forward to. You have Spider-Man to look forward to. You have Days Gone to look forward to. You have Death Stranding to look forward to. Right, Last of Us Part 2, which was revealed at PSX. There's all this is our lineup for the rest of the gen. So if one game doesn't really interest you, there might be another game that is, right? So you can hold on to that. Hope for the future. That's the key word. Hope. So it gave PlayStation fans hope that. And Microsoft, on the flip side, in comparison, at E3s and elsewhere, because they had no games in development, far out, because there was nothing far out to show. So it was always in the near, it was always, last year, ED3, right? A good paced show. Like, it was really fast. Show. It had some great third-party content. But what they show? Gears for next year, Halo Infinite for 2020, Ori 2 for 2019. So it's like, oh man, like it's like just Gears and Halo, like
Gears and Force and Halo. And
what people want is they want that just big drop. They want Microsoft to come in and be like,
you know what I want?
Look, here's what Obsidian's working on. Here's what Playground's working on. Here's the Initiative's working on. Here's what Undead Lab is working on. Here's what this is. People want to know, like, they want that similar situation where, like, they can just latch onto a title and have that hope that, hey, maybe State of Decay 2 is not for you, but fucking goddamn the Initiative's game in 2 years, that is what I'm looking forward to the most. That's the difference between the two, or at least has been, is that Microsoft had nothing and Sony had, they just risked it all. And literally, that was coming the next 4 years. And even if Death Stranding is not 4 years later, it gave all the Sony fans something to look forward to. And even so, look what happened with Sony this year. Like, yeah, we're not going to E3 because we don't got anything to show, right?
You know what I want? I know what I want. I want a E3 like Sony did for 2016, and that's always been my mind.
Oh, and I think that's what a lot of people want. I don't think you're going to get it this year, because I think E3 2020 is more important because Sony's going to come back and look in screenshots. But I know which ones of yous who suddenly have gone from E3 and we're picking the winners every single year to suddenly Sony's not at E3 and it doesn't matter. And when they announce that they're back next year because they have a new console to show and new games, suddenly sure. E3 is gonna matter.
I don't. E3 is important. Like, I don't. That's just dog shit. But what I want from Microsoft is an E3 like I got from Sony in 2016 surprises. You know what I mean? And it always been my biggest issue, and I'm probably about to move the show along now, is that I know what I'm going to get when I look at a Microsoft E3, Gears of Force, and Halo. They didn't have a bad show last year. They showed some great content, the multiplayer, let me get it right, but again, it was still just Gears of Force. Let me play these bills right quick. My man El Matador, he says, small and agile words that came from Microsoft Studios. Shout out to my brother McNeil J. Chris, who's on the flat earth, the edge of the earth right now. Xbox needs something for the streets, not the Nintendo crowd. Yes, I agree with that. They went away from graphic games. They even put in that Nintendo spin on Gears with Gears Pop. And let me go in the free messaging part here. Shout out to the guys that sent me something on the free message. Azai, Rand, you guys are killing it, man. You guys should do more shows more often. You didn't leave a name. But shout out. And again, guys, if you're watching the show or you're live, you want to send us a free message, it won't cost you a dime and help support the show. Here, there's the link right here. If you're in cell phones, You can send us a message right now. We answer your question here live. One thing, and again, it won't cost you a goddamn dime. There. Moving right along. Next generation, right? We can all agree, like I said before, again, next generation is going to be 2020. November for Microsoft, November for Sony, right?
Yeah, heavyweight showdown.
And again, who are they? 7 years? Again, this generation is over already, right?
This generation was over in E3 2013 when Sony made that video. This is how you share games. The generation was done.
Well, I'm not even so much talking about much more for us, but Microsoft. I'm just saying so much like this is it. Like 7 years, you know what I mean? Like we already on the heels, on the cusp of a new generation, right? Do you think it will be a disaster? And piggybacking on AP the shooter, or something about parts power, someone says about power. Do you think it will be a disaster coming out next generation? Say Microsoft, granted they got the games, but their console is less powerful than the PlayStation 5. Do you think that would be a disaster for Microsoft?
Depends on how much less powerful. If it's like a little bit and they're the same price, I'm not really sure that's much of a difference. If it's a lot and it's the same price, obviously that's a problem. See, that's the thing. We don't know really about, like, we like to talk that, you know, Sony showed the specs, but they didn't really. All we know is that the CPU's Navi, or CPU's a Zen 2. The GPU's a Navi.
Yeah.
Drive. We don't know the clock speeds. We don't know the teraflop number. We don't know the RAM, right?
The GC numbers, whatever. Yeah.
So they basically gave, like, you know, just here's some information. So we're waiting to see what Microsoft. Now the rumors having a premium console named Anaconda and a
Mid-range
cheaper SKU called the Lockhart, right? My mind, I always kind of looked at it as like $299 Lockhart, $399 PlayStation 5, $499 Anaconda, right? That Sony would sit right in the middle at $400.
You think so?
That was kind of my always thought, because look at how well, you know, a $400 PlayStation 4 did this gen, right?
But we're going. If here's the thing, and I'm not to cut you off. Rumor has this PS4 would say at least 10 T-flops, right? If Sony gave you listen, look like this. We got to be honest. We got to be realistic here. If Sony gave us a Pro with 4 T-flops for $400, we're not getting a 10 T-flop console with Navi for $400. We got to be practical. You know what I mean? And I don't have a problem with it being $500. You know what I mean? And in all honesty, I want the console to be $500. I don't want it to be $400. You know what I mean? I want, you know, to, like, and again, we already tout with 4K, and I guess the next gen selling point, everything should be 4K 60, but we know how developers are. We know how that shit goes, right? Yeah. I just don't see them giving us a 10 T-flop console, even an 8 T-flop console for $400. I don't see it happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, you hear all the rumors all the time. I get linked and all this stuff. There's even something that goes now that the PlayStation 5 is more powerful by 20 to 30%. I don't know. Could it be true? Maybe. Like, all I know is that Microsoft, I've seen some of Microsoft's internal stuff, right? Aiming to have Anaconda being the undisputed performance leader. I at least think, or at least hoping, that the Anaconda is going to be more powerful than the place. And I honestly think Microsoft needs the power narrative. Like, the help they can get to go up against Sony, right? So they need to have a more powerful system, and they also need to have the cheaper system, which is why I think the 2 SKU strategy works well for them, because they could basically, hey, here's the hardcore. You want the super powerful $500 Anaconda, go ahead. If you don't want it, here's a $300 system. So we got price, we got power. Most people assume Sony's going to sit in the F400, but what if they don't? What if Sony's like, we can't be less powerful than Microsoft, match somehow, and you have Anaconda and PS5 at 500, and they're both similar. Maybe one's slightly better than the other. Also interesting to see, like, if they thought they were more powerful, they would have given the specs potentially interview, because they know Microsoft is going to talk about their next gen at E3. So it would be like Sony to basically just kind of rain on Microsoft's parade, right? Remember when announced the Xbox One Sat Edition? That was the day Sony dropped that interview with Wired about the PlayStation 5. You know, when State of
I forgot about. I wouldn't even talk about that dumbass sad. But okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when you remember when State of
Yes.
Decay 2 came out last year,
Yes.
what did Sony do? They dropped an hour of footage of Days Gone
Mm-hmm.
literally a year before the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like good marketing. They're like, hey, don't forget, we got this coming out here. Sony, you know. So to me, it's like one of those things where knew they were more powerful. They probably would have been like, oh, and by the way, you know, our maybe they wouldn't give clock speed because that can change, but maybe they're like, yeah, we got 13 teraflops in this motherfucker. And then obviously Xbox is like, shit, we're only targeting 11. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like we can't get on stage and say we're only 11 because I mean, look how Xbox One did at the reveal this gen. Like when PlayStation 4 is clearly more powerful, what did Xbox talk about? They talked about how many fucking transistors they had in their system. We got 3 billion transistors.
Yeah.
Like meaningless statistics because they knew the Xbox One wasn't as powerful as the PlayStation 4, so they couldn't tout it. I think Microsoft wants to get on stage and say, and once again, we will have the world's most powerful console. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they need that because they need any advantage they can get against Sony because Sony's a more powerful or more worldwide gaming brand. The question is it going to be more powerful? Did Sony maybe build something that, you know, choose a different path? I don't know. I think we'll find out soon because it sounds like a lot of people have. So the real information will come out eventually. So I'm really curious to see what exactly, you know, the specs are for all of these consoles.
Hold on, let me pay the bills right quick. Shout out to my brother again, AP the shooter. He says, even if Sony's console was $500, it would be worth it because they gave us something to crave. This won't be like the PS3 ever, I imagine. Here's again. This is we gotta be honest and really. My man, what's the guy name here? I seen that was pretty funny. Hey, listen, man. Blackbeard, man, you should have put that message right there on in that free. Listen, that funny shit you guys got to put in this free messaging chat. It ain't gonna cost you guys a thing. He says, thanks for me saying I'm not Bill Gates, fuck nigga. Give me a console at 400. You gotta put that shit in that free messaging that, right? You say Sony gave us something to yearn for. You asked them as far as their game and I'm gonna say that in people. I mean, I think it was all day. I haven't spoken to him in a while. He said, "What you should know Sony's track record of giving great games." Actually, I don't. You know what I mean? Because a lot of what made and again, maybe I'm showing my age more longer than two, and a lot of these guys don't understand what made the PS1 and the PS2 so great is that the multiplats that we have today were exclusives back then. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, Devil May Cry used to be exclusive. All these games that these big, huge multiplayers we have today were all exclusive back in the PS2 and the PS1 era. To me, this generation, Sony doubled down on themselves. You know what I mean? I used to be out these motherfuckers. They had selling buildings, selling fax machines and curtain lamps and all this shit, and they still. That's why I don't go with the whole money thing because they released. VR supported that, gave us a Slim, gave us a Pro, and still supported their console. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, they doubled down on themselves and whatever the hell Microsoft was doing. But going back to, like I said, the next generation question, I look at it like this, right? Sony has to completely dominate. They had a PS2 generation, this generation all over again. It's like they repeated what they did with the PS2 era, right? They wiped out the competition, right? So so going into the next generation, they are almost depicted being the favorite because you're going to get a God of War, this and this, that, and the other. Whatever, they are the household market console name right now, right? When you see on TV, you see kids or commercial video, commercials, or you see videos or whatever, you see kids with PlayStation controls in their hand. It used to be 360 controls back in last generation, right? I used to pay attention to shit like that. What Microsoft has to do, they can't, and again. At the start of the generation, I think both games don't be that great. You know what I mean? The Rise, the Killzone, they all be kind of just pretty looking games, right? We don't get the better games until the end of the generation, right? But this is going to be the power. Digital Foundry is going to make a shitload of money, you know what I mean? Microsoft can't drop their ball again, you know what I mean? Like, they can't, you know what I mean? Because, again, I thought it was always silly, but they got their head knocked off with that narrative. 720p box and it should have been an Xbox 720p. You know what I mean? They can't do that shit again. You know what I mean? And pricing. You know what I mean? I don't even understand why releasing two SKUs. You know what I mean? because they're releasing so much hardware. Like, Rand, what is the purpose for the Xbox SAD? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, supposedly it's a test case to see if people want.
for $250.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't retailers don't really have a reason to stock it, and at $250, I don't recommend anybody buy that. I would wait until the holiday when that thing might be on sale for 150.
But that's what I'm telling. Hey, bro, and Rand, I listened to everything you were saying. You put out some good points. This is why I don't have faith. You know what I mean? More or less, you know, I just don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because it's like they don't have a clue. You know what I mean? No one's buying your S now, right? So it's outsold dead last every fucking month, right? And it has more features than the box that you're putting out now, and it costs more. You know what I mean? Like, that to me doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. You're removing a main, because one of the main selling features for the Xbox One S was a 4K Blu-ray player, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you're taking away the major feature. It was one of the cheapest Blu-ray 4K Blu-ray players you get on the market. You're removing that feature, but it's still the same. How much the price? Like, that to me, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
I mean, it
what are you
doesn't make
doing?
any sense because it's not super cheap. It's priced like more expensive than the other systems, so it doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
at
but
all.
who? But and again, who the fuck is making these decisions? Even the acronyms. Xbox SAD.
I don't know who at marketing thought that would be a good idea. But
Hey,
I
bro,
mean,
I'm
like,
telling you, Phil, I know Phil, you're mad. That motherfucker double agent, bro.
hey, he ain't making the name for that console, though. You know that as well as I do.
I'm just saying, but don't he
You
get
know,
the last
Phil
say
don't
with
make
the?
every decision,
But
but
I
yeah,
mean, the buck stops there. The head honcho, you
sure,
know.
and he would say that, like, he's in charge, buck stops there. But I guarantee you, he's not making the decision about what the name of that system is, though.
Oh,
Those
well,
are
I'm
people.
just saying, but who, like, you know, because it didn't take. As soon as we saw the name, right? Well, the name, that name popped up 2 seconds in Twitter. Xbox SAD. You know how shit goes on Twitter, right? You got a boardroom full of millionaires. Can anybody just see that? Right? You're like, hey, hold up, Xbox all digital. Hold up, Xbox SAD. Nah, we can't go with that one. No, you know what I mean. We can't go with that one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, bro. I don't get it, man. Like, man, bro. Like,
I mean, look, it makes sense if it's super cheap. If it's $150, it makes sense.
uh,
But like, it needs to be super cheap. So here's the thing: if they're looking at it as a test case to see if people want disk drives for next gen, then this thing's going to crash and burn, and you're going to have disk drives. So
wait, here's the thing. You have to have you have to have disk drives. You know what I mean? It's a console, traditional console, because you still got, how you say, the mom and pops, the brick and mortar stores, still the Game Stops and Walmart's. You know, still gonna have physical media. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I buy my game mostly on digital, but you still, I think we're a long way removed still from having completely all digital. Hold me pay the bills real quick. Shout out to my brother Carlos Crespin said neither console will be leaps and bounds better. I kind of disagree with that. And hold up, shout out to my brother Top Dog. He said gamers skipped the Dreamcast for the PS2 because of Saturn. PS2 was $300 and Sega was $200. PS2 launch games were terrible. Nah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. The PS2 launch games was kind of shitty. You know what I mean? It was kind of shitty. Now let me go to the free little chats here. Hold up, read these messages right quick. Heath Stevens, he says, Z, what happened with the Initiative Studio? We heard all this hype, and now it's only a double A, and you can add to that. And my man Graphics Guy said, Z, what are these super chats that are popping up on your screen? I've never seen this before. This is something new, man. A new way to interact with your boy, NXTGEN720. But now I want, yeah, that's again. What's it called? The Initiative went from being a quadruple A studio to now they're what, a double A only games like.
they're still double it. They're still quadruple A. The
Also,
thing is that got people worried is that they put out so they're trying to hire for all their main leads and trying to determine what they're working on. They don't want to hire 200, 300 people until they lock down all the facets of what game and what everybody's working on. They have all the leads basically in place. You know, once pre-production's over, they know exactly what they want. They have the crew and the studio culture they want to foster. Then they're going to hire a bunch of people. But it's still a quadruple A studio. That's what That's what they're hiring for and all that stuff. I mean, even like the creative director, he said like this on Twitter. He said, "Well, I'm self-conscious it's quadruple A, or no, he's like, it's quadruple A, but if you're self-conscious like me, think triple A
Oh,
stuff. And they're going to be building something, in my opinion, on the level of Gears and Halo, like the next big Xbox franchise, in my opinion. Um, not going to be a double A experience like something like Compulsion Games might make, or something like in Exile. Like the initiative is sit in Santa Monica to hire expensive talent because they are talented, because they want to make an amazing game, which is going to require an extraordinary budget for the initiative. But you're not going to hear about anything they're doing for a while. I don't think. Like I don't think they're. You're probably not going to hear about what they're doing. Probably, I would say at the earliest next year, and that's even like slightly optimistic. Probably 2021 is maybe the first time you hear about it, because I don't expect their game until 2023. So
damn. Since until 2023. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna ask you two more questions before I let you get the hell up. I'm not gonna hold you too long. Okay. So you got the initiative. Okay. Start of next generation. We're gonna say, we say November 2020, right? I want you to grab your crystal ball right here, right? What's that? What's that Halo? What's the name? What's the name of the new goddamn Halo's coming out? What's
Halo Infinite.
Okay. Is that, you think that's a launch title?
Yes,
Look,
I think
look.
it comes out. I think it comes out very close to the launch of. I wouldn't be surprised if it launched in October
Okay.
on Xbox One and like Steam first, and then
Steam? Halo Infinite? Hello?
what? I didn't hear what you said.
No, you went out to Halo Infinite launching on Steam?
Master Chief Collection's coming to Steam, is it not?
Oh man, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, no, okay.
Okay. Let me explain. What has the one thing Phil and everybody at Xbox has always said? They want you to be able to play the game that you want with the people that you want on the device that you want at any time that you want, right? In the mantra. Clearly, they have no issue with Steam because Master Chief Collection is coming there. And in order to play Master Chief Collection on Steam, you need to be signed into Xbox Live. It requires an Xbox Live account, which goes into their whole monthly active user stuff. So yes, in my opinion, I think we'll launch, whether it's October or November, it'll come out on Xbox One. It'll be out on Steam. It'll be a launch title for Xbox 2 or whatever. It'll literally be everywhere.
Okay. Hold on one second. Shout out to my man Legion. It's a good question, but I don't think so. So, do you think he sent it to me? Message via the free message app. Do you think Anaconda will have a custom build option like bigger hard drive, or maybe an option to overclock the CPU? No. You're not doing any overclocking on no consoles.
Yeah, they're getting into the PC territory there. They're not going to be anything for that. Like you'll be able to plug in like a bigger hard drive if you want, but you're not going to be able to tinker with stuff.
Anything. It's a custom, it's enclosed in the box, right? Okay, so here's the thing, right? Again, we talking about November, 2 new consoles. So you still got the S, you still got X, the Xbox One is, and you still got the X. So we talking about 5 fucking SKUs.
I would also so I think the
That
Xbox
doesn't make any meaning, goddamn, because you still got the Xbox One X.
I think the X gets discontinued and phased out.
The Xbox One X.
Yes, because you won't need it. Like the
Wait. Think what you just said. You won't need the X, but you need the S.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about like you're talking about the SKUs that you can buy, right?
No, I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about as far as, like I said, because you said them releasing 2 consoles. You have the
Anaconda
and a Lockhart. We're talking about 2 SKUs, high end and mid range. And I said you just released the S this year, because most likely that's still going to be the next year. You got the S, you got the SAD, and you have the X. So you got 3 consoles leading into the 2020, and they talking about releasing 2 more consoles. So that's 5 fucking pieces of hardware.
So here's how I see that. You'll have the Anaconda at 500.
Got it.
Lockhart at 300. And they'll phase out the X because the Lockhart will be a better machine than the X is.
Better version of the X.
So they don't need the X, so it'll be phased out. And if you want, by that point in time, the Xbox One S could be $150.
Okay, I can see that being a win-win if the X, if the Lockhart is the X with 16 flops, with a beefier CPU that can get you 60 frames.
Oh, I'm hearing that Lockhart is essentially around 5 teraflops with the Zen 2 CPU and the SSD. So it's going to be a better system because it's going to have a better CPU. It'll have a more efficient GPU.
But you're
May
losing the
not
T flop.
exactly match it on the T-flop power because they're going to be trying to sell it for $300, but it's going to have the better storage solution and probably more RAM as well. So it's going to be the better
I
machine.
don't know, man. Man, gee, okay, hold up. Let me pay these bills right quick. Shout out you guys,
And
man.
you
Support.
can ask this to dealer tomorrow when you talk to him. He's more tech
Yeah,
oriented
yeah,
than
yeah,
me.
yeah. I'm gonna talk to my man Dealer. He can pull this shit out his ass. Dealer, you piece of shit. Hold on. Richard Hayes. He said, I think they. He said, I think they used Steam to boost the launch of Halo Infinite. I believe that Halo Infinite is going to be on Xbox and Microsoft after the Microsoft gets a well-needed upgrade. Hold up, I got another one here. Man, that just seems so wrong, bro. Like Jesus. Start to my man Stephen G said, "What's good, guys? For the $2." Um, I'm just maybe I'm just a little old school, man, and again I just they just need to me again. I think I understand how they right now, and it's hard to take them off this path because they're making more money than they ever have with having their services everywhere. But in the grand scheme of things, you still have a box that you have to sell, and to me, I think they're just devaluing the box. You know what I mean? And this is one of the things. This is the thing, Rand. And the bottom line is, I just don't like that. Maybe I am one of the old guardians on the game.
You're definitely one of the old guard
They're
because
just
I mean, and I
taking.
agree with you. Look, I agree with you that putting your games everywhere essentially does devalue the console because if you want to play Xbox games, see you could play them on mobile. Who knows? Maybe you play them on Nintendo. So yeah, you don't necessarily need to buy the box, but it's like I said earlier, Microsoft doesn't view Xbox as a console anymore. Microsoft views Xbox as the platform, and the console is just one avenue to access the platform of Xbox Live.
Mm,
PC is another way. Soon, xCloud on iOS and Android will be another way. You
mm,
know, Cuphead on the Switch and Minecraft on the Switch have Xbox Live logins. That's another way.
mm,
Master Chief Collection on Steam, you have to log into Xbox Live. That's another way. That's
mm.
how Microsoft views it now.
All right, hold on. Let me
So
play. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not about the console. Unfortunately, I know for a lot of people that's difficult or they don't want to believe, but
Uh
that's
huh.
just the truth of the matter.
I hold on. Shout out to my brother again, AP the shooter. So what am I supposed to do with my Xbox One X thing? And I don't like it, but Microsoft said, and even he said, there's no console left behind. And I know, I still we didn't talk about this cloud thing with Sony. How do you feel about that when they say no console left behind, Rand?
And it was
Because
marketing. It's marketing speak. But I mean, to directly answer your question, just because I say I think the X will get phased out where you can't buy it, that means you won't be able to buy it. But if you already have it, the X is going to be supported for a long time. Like
mm-hmm.
Halo Infinite be on the X. It's going to run. I would imagine Ninja Theory's next game is going to be on the X.
Okay,
I think, you know, so like the games are still going to come. You're still
okay,
going to get a long use out of your X. They just won't necessarily sell it anymore. At least
oh,
that's how I envision it.
okay. But here's another thing, all right? And that's we got to tackle the elephant on this cloud thing. But here's my question, right? Do you think Sony will do the same? Because I think here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna get your opinion. This generation, one of the problems I had with this generation, right? It's like a love and the thing is that normally, traditionally, I'll give you an example. And that's I always say this: when the Super Nintendo came out, that was it for the NES, right? When the Nintendo 64 came out, that was it for the Super Nintendo, right? And when the 360 came out, that was it for the Xbox. This generation, some of your bigger games like Rise of the Tomb Raider was on the 360 and the Xbox One. You had what you call cross-gen development, and trust and believe that's not going anywhere. So when you buy that new Assassin's Creed, you're gonna be able to buy it in your PS4 and your PS5, and I don't think that the adaptation of consoles next generation is going to be as big as it was this generation because I don't think that cross-gen development is going to be. I think it's going to be the whole generation because x86 and what I mean. I don't think it's going anywhere. Do you think Sony is going to release their big titles on both platforms? You know what I mean? You think they're going to double dip that way, or are
I
they going?
think Sony is going to release, say, God of War 2 on mobile and
No, 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 no,
PC.
no, not mobile. I'm saying as far as God of War 5 on, with God of War on the Pro and the 5. You know what I mean? or you think it's just going to be on
No. I
five?
think Sony's gonna do a clean split. So I think the next God of War will be only playable on the PlayStation 5. It won't be playable on the PS4 or the Pro.
So you don't think they're going to release no games at all cross gen? Because I'm hearing what's that?
I mean, from Sony
Days Gone.
themselves,
Days Gone. Not Days Gone. Just Death Stranding. Hearing that's like cross gen or even.
yeah. That's always been cross gen. The Ghost of Tsushima's cross gen. Last of Us, like yeah, they'll get a PS4 and PS5 release, right?
Okay.
Because they're a promise for the PlayStation 4. But
Okay.
going in, like for Horizon Zero Dawn 2, 100% only a PlayStation 5 game. I think God of War 5 is 100% only going to be a PS5 game. Spider-Man 2. Like
Okay.
Sony's going to have a clear line in the sand where they're going to be like,
as far as their games.
yeah, as far as their own games. That doesn't mean, Ubisoft will still probably
still
do
gonna do it.
cross-gen
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, they still
EA
gonna
will
do it.
still do cross-gen stuff.
Yeah.
But Sony themselves, I think, will be, at some point, they'll be like, this is just for PlayStation 5, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah, because I mean, because I kind of wish Microsoft would, just say, I don't want my next generation games being able to run on 2013 hardware. I want them to take full advantage of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, so do I.
you know what I mean? But
I absolutely want them to take full advantage of it.
But like I said, okay, but moving right along, the last topic of the day, you know what I mean? We got a little longer than I expected. Micah, you see the photo there, you know what I mean? Sony bending the knee, shaking hands with citing the dollar. Do you look this as, you know what? No, okay, one of the things that, I guess, talking points more or less, that Microsoft never really viewed Sony serious. They looked at more as Amazon and Google as a threat. You know what I mean? Just to be, Microsoft was a huge company. I mean, many different facets, right? They can acquire Nintendo and Sony with the swipe, not even miss a blink, right? We miss a step, right? Now we see Google getting into gaming as far as this cloud thing. I don't know if you tried the Project Stream or whatever it ran. If you didn't,
I haven't tried it yet.
And this was before me knowing the specs. And this ain't me. No, he said no cap. Before me knowing what was in the cloud or whatever the case may be, I told you it was just the period that it scared the hell out of me. Right? You coming from a person that, and maybe I had a negative connotation about the cloud gaming because of Gaikai, because of PS Now or online, the input lag and low resolutions. So everybody, so I think a lot of people's perception of the cloud gaming is because of those situations there. And then going, like I said, me playing Assassin's Creed, 1080p, 60 frames a second, high settings, whatever. I was like, damn, this shit looks better than when it was on my X and my Pro. And I'm just booting shit up from a $150. I tried it on my daughter's little bullshit, Walmart laptop. Like, this shit works. It scared the hell out of me. Like, I'm an old school guy, and I don't want the me, going out to get in line. You know what it is to get a new console. You know what it is, bro. Opening that motherfucker up and taking the smell of a new console. I don't want that to ever go away. And that, honestly, people can talk shit all you want, bro. But that shit works, and it's scary as hell. Like, you know what I mean? So, you had at the start with Sony saying, we're looking at, we're, what they say, they released this article or something, statement saying, they have faith in their exclusives and, more a traditional console or whatever the fuck the case may be. And now to see them getting on board with Microsoft, with the Azure type thing, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like, this is like I said, like the future. Like, what are your thoughts about that? You know what I mean? Because, I'm like, honestly, you know what I mean? Because even with, what Google showed, I don't know if you saw the presentation, right? And we all know that YouTube has a big influence on the gaming world. Number one place to look at your gaming stuff, right? To see your favorite YouTuber playing whatever, Hot Shots Golf 95, and you can just take your mouse, click on a link, and hop in the game with them. No lag, no load time. You understand what I'm saying? And Google's gonna put money behind it. That shit probably scared the hell shit out of Sony too. Hey, you just get on board with Mike, whatever the fuck it's gonna be. Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, all right. So I think we all can tell that a lot of these tech companies, even the game companies, they think that streaming is the future because they see how people have evolved their entertainment habits over the course of time, and everything has gone towards convenience, streaming, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Sony doesn't have a robust streaming and a cloud infrastructure. So people, especially analysts out there, we're waiting for something like this to drop. That Sony, like, and the CEO of Sony said that they view streaming as a threat, like Google being a competitor. Amazon, I'm told by multiple people,
Amazon, Verizon,
is coming
Walmart.
real soon with their own game streaming thing. Like, this is big money. There's big money to be made. Is going to, like, if someone uses Google and stops buying Sony games, that affects Sony's bottom line because that's where they make their money, right? So Sony needs to be streaming, right? So the common thought was that Sony would just go with Amazon or go with Google. But they dropped the bomb that nobody really expected and chose Microsoft, which means more than likely they probably got an inside look at what they're doing with xCloud, and their streaming services got to look at Google and Amazon and thought that Microsoft was the best for them. Who knows what other kind of deals are in the contracts? I know Sony's given them some, like, semiconductors, and it's a win-win for both, because what Sony lacked was a great infrastructure for cloud streaming, which Microsoft is now going to provide for them, and obviously gets a massive customer that is going to use Azure in their products and help build it out. So the big loser in this one's Google. A great partnership. Microsoft could essentially, use that money, funnel it into Xbox to create more stuff, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff aside. But what it means is that Sony is taking that threat serious with the streaming, and they know that they couldn't do it themselves. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the time to build out an infrastructure, so they chose somebody. Now, I know a lot of your PlayStation fans here and a lot of PlayStation fans that follow me, they're not going to like what I'm going to say next.
Yeah.
Okay. Sony bending the knee, right? Like, nobody won or lost. This is a win-win for both companies. Like, what this really means is that eventually, I'm not saying right away, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not even saying next year, but 2 will be on PC and mobile phones, as well as the PlayStation 5. This is the signal and the start of PlayStation going everywhere.
Yeah, I can do it.
They want to follow that. I know a lot, and I'm sure Top Dog, Top Frog, is always in my comments, always tweeting me. He's gonna tell me why I'm wrong. But I'm telling you.
Hey, yo, they said some old man Puerto Rock somewhere drinking a half a gallon of bleach, man.
This doesn't mean that Gears 5 will be on PlayStation. It doesn't mean that God of War will be on Xbox. That's the extremes that people always go to.
But
what this means is that eventually,
you know what?
PS5, but then also streaming through the Azure cloud and what they're doing, at some point you'll be able to play your Sony games on your phone or your PC. That is what this is all about.
Okay, now here's the thing, right? And again, and I guess the why is so funny because it came out of nowhere, right? When you had the show from Google, right, and then Microsoft with the xCloud, and Sony, like I said, talking about the PlayStation 5, and they had faith in their exclusives. I did videos about it. What's the guy, Muscle Bell Games, said, yeah, Sony's sticking to the traditional way of doing gaming, this, that, and the other, right? Now, everybody got to do a motherfucking two-step and backtrack. But even then, like I said, man, I know people double down on it, they don't like it. And just basic business 101. And I think a lot of the fanboys or us get caught up in, and they don't realize this is a business, you know what I mean? And I even try to explain this to Puerto Rock, right? And me and him went back and forth, right? I used to say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, right? I said to him that Spider-Man or whatever would make more money if it was in PS Now than, them releasing it physically. He said, no, it's so... No, I said, bro, look at the top... And I explained it like this, right? We all look at EA as shrewd businessmen, right? You can get EA, you can get Madden and all that and EA Access and things. You still see Madden in the top 10 of NPD every fucking month, right? That's not going to affect the people that are still going to go out there and buy it, you know what I mean? But they make so much more money, it's a fucking fact of them getting your $10 every fucking month. Because you got some people that may only buy one fucking game a year, right? You know what I mean? Now I'm going to get $120 out of your ass, you know what I mean? For the fucking year. You make, or you understand what I'm saying? And they don't look at it like that, and they have access to so many more other gamers. I can't say too much. I'm not trying to make any trouble with their job. But someone was, from over there was explaining to what I was doing the show with Puerto Rock. I'll tell you guys why you'd be surprised who watches your show. Puerto Rico had his calculator out, like, yeah, because Spider-Man did this, broke this. I said, bro, Sony would make way more money, you know what I mean, if it was their day and date. I will sign up for PlayStation now because there are a lot of PlayStation games that come out that maybe some of the Yakuza that I wouldn't normally buy, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't mind trying it for as long as it's price right for $15 a month, maybe $12 a month or whatever. I will sign up for the fucking service, you know what I mean? And again, they have what you call a new goddamn customer, you know what I mean? But even them, like I said, letting other players or gamers, how you say that? How Microsoft, those 2 billion gamers, have access, because you do have a bunch of other gamers that they're not going to buy a PlayStation no matter what, but they wouldn't mind playing God of War. You understand what I'm saying?
Think about this, and this isn't something that a lot of people talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
A play for right now, because it's not. This is about the future of gaming. Is right now who are the young kids growing up to eventually take our places? Because we're old men.
Yeah,
right?
yes, sir, yes, sir.
We're old men. We're gonna,
yes, sir.
We're gonna get older. But the young kids growing up now, they expect certain things. They expect game streaming. They expect certain amenities, right?
Yeah, they don't care how they consume their content.
They don't care. So that's the thing. Sony's setting themselves up with what they consider someone to have the best streaming technology out there because they want to be able to eventually meet those consumers' demands who demand something like, why can't I play this on my phone right now? And you'll be able to. Look, like, I understand some people will be like, well, that will negate the PlayStation 5. I mean, if it's just streaming to your phone and your PC, it's going to be where you want to play it. They're going to match Google. Google's there, and they're going to have a bunch of stuff and a bunch selling third-party games. Sony wants to be there too, because what if streaming does take? Like, that's the other thing. You can't just hope, and for Sony being the market leader, you can't just hope that streaming's just a fad and nobody wants it, right? Because it's not about what 40-year-olds who game right now think. It's going to be about what younger generations want. So it's not a play for even next gen. It's a play for generations from now. That's the whole point. And that's what people don't realize. So
you're absolutely right. Like I said, I tried to explain it to Porter Rock that we are, like you said, again, the last of the Mohicans, and you have such as my daughter or my grandson. They don't care how they play their Fortnite. They don't have a allegiance to any platform. If he can sit down and play Fortnite on, the television and whatever plugin, he's cool with that. He's playing Fortnite. You don't care how you play it. And they the younger generation, younger demographic, whatever, outnumber us 50-1. You know what I mean? So again, and not saying I want it to go anywhere, because I am a huge fan of traditional consoles, collectors consoles. You know what I mean? This stuff stuff that we like. And like I said, what scared me is the threat that it fucking worked. You know what I mean? I didn't have any issues. I mean, none whatsoever. You know what I mean? And they talking about 4K 60 at something like, what they said, 30 up, 30 down. I got 300 up, 300 down. You know what I mean? But they say, for 1080p, 60 was like, 15 up or a minimum 25 up or 25 down. Like, that was crazy. Let me free to pay these a few free bills. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Shout out to the Lord. Says, what are the chances of Microsoft putting Halo Gears on a PlayStation console? And my man Heath Stevenson said, Z, the Junks box is coming out with 3 SKUs of console and a PST type, PSTV type device. I don't think is Microsoft still doing that little Chrome stick type thing or no?
I don't know. I haven't heard much about that. So presumably not. Maybe the tech isn't there yet for it. That's the other thing people think is like they're also worried consoles will go away. I kind of think you have a minimum of two generations left, because let's be honest, like streaming is probably not going to be mass adopted just yet. Just like digital downloads, like every generation they always introduce something that 360 era you had like DLC for the first time, right? And it was kind of slow and plotting, and you had horse armor and map packs. And that eventually became a big business with expansions and all that stuff. And then small arcade games, right? And then they kind of introduced digital downloads, but nobody really bought them. And then the transition to this gen, right? Where everything, like, they really push digital. And now digital, even though the whole gen they push digital, it's still only about 50%. So people are kind of, it takes a while for people to get accustomed to the way things change. So even with streaming being a thing next generation, it'll be more a complementary thing, right? It'll be like I have Xbox. I bought this game. My wife is using the console right now. Screw it. I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna play on my PC or I'm gonna play on my phone or whatever. It'll be the same thing with Sony. But then eventually, go by, it'll be something completely different. So in my mind, I think you got next gen with consoles, and you got the gen after that generation, right?
And
So
after that,
you're probably good. You're
after
probably
that-
good with consoles for at least 20. So let's see, 2020. 7 years, probably good until 2033, 2034. And which at that point, that's what, like, 14 years from now. Who knows where gaming will be at this point? But there are people that are worried that streaming will do that, but it's not. At least not right away.
Hold on, to answer your question, my man, about do I think we see Gears or Halo on PlayStation, bro? With this new regime of Microsoft, bro, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think you might see Gears on PlayStation?
Okay. So my initial thought would be no. And same thing because you never know anymore.
I don't.
Think about the beginning of this gen.
Yeah.
If I would have told you at the start of this generation that Microsoft and Sony would sign a partnership where Sony would be using the Azure cloud for stuff in the future, you'd be like, absolutely crazy. If I told you that there'd be a game on the Switch from Microsoft that gives you Xbox Live achievements where you have to log into Xbox Live, you'd have been like, Rand, you're bugging out.
Yep.
If I would have said, you know what, at some point this generation, PlayStation gamers, Xbox gamers, Switch gamers, and PC gamers could play the same game together, absolutely nuts. But as this generation has showed, barriers are being knocked down. Things are changing. They're not the way they once were. So who knows what 10 years from now happens? 10 years from now, could Halo Infinite 5 be on PlayStation? Maybe. That this deal is anything to do with that. I think this more has to do with... I think this signifies Sony and Microsoft kind of giving the middle finger to Google. Like, Google's looming. This is them saying, we're going to consolidate. And this is, we're going to...
Them trying to fend off...
Yeah, trying to fend off all that stuff. That's what I think. Like, so look, if Sony wants to keep on using PlayStation now the way it is, they wouldn't have done this deal. No. Like, this is about, like, reaching everybody and all that stuff. So, like, I don't know. Some of the people, like, for whatever reason, I don't know why it makes PlayStation fans so upset. Be like,
you know why? Because there's one last... Let me be honest, but you know how it is, bro. There's one last thing that they can gloat about. Any fan. Hold on one second. Shout out to my man, my brother Nev, my oldest son right there. He said, me, Pose, DRM, and Moss have been saying this to P-Rock. He got to check this goddamn L. And shout out to my biggest supporter on this channel, one of my biggest supporters. Come on, this kid say, great show, guys. I'm happy for all this. I'm taking my talents to PC. Fuck, nigga. So he's taking his talents to PC. You know what I mean? But I say again, it's business at the end of the day, and they got to realize it too. And Microsoft and Sony do business with each other every day. You gotta remember, one time Sony sold PCs. Remember the Sony fucking PC? They had Windows on it.
Sony buys, licenses for Windows. Microsoft buys licenses for Blu-ray. They work together.
I forgot the name of the app. And when I used to be my hardcore Xbox damage control shit, I did fighting these wars. I had a list of the shit that Microsoft has. When you talking about gaming as whole, Microsoft got the goddamn gaming in the headlock. That I forgot the name of the program. The program that they use to make the game, Microsoft owns that. Like, I forgot the name of the shit. It's different for the computer, for Windows, whatever.
Havoc. They have the Havoc engine.
No, not just that. It's an actually program stuff. Or whatever the fuck. Like Microsoft.
Like owns, Visual Basic.
Yeah, something like they own that. Like Microsoft owns all type of the security that's in your Blu-ray disc to keep that V-dash on. Microsoft owns that. They own a whole bunch of shit. Like, you know what I mean? So these companies do business with each other all the time. You know what I mean? So again, this is just Sony looking to make their PlayStation Now service more attractive. And most of it right now it's trash. You know what I mean? Especially comparing to what Google has. I'm just keeping it funky. That shit work. You ain't miss a motherfucking beat. Like, you know what I mean? I wish you could have, it was for free, the link when you took part. I don't know if it's still even going on. You can probably still use it, whatever the fuck the case may be.
No, it's not. If Post Up was right about this, like he says.
Like, bro, listen, I remember me, because I was crazy, right? They called me a hypocrite. They was like, you always talking about your integrity is in, because I talked all this shit about streaming, right? Streaming, this, that, and the other. Man, I tried that shit, man. I had to humble myself. Like you said, like my man D said, I had life experience, bro. Like that shit scared the shit out of me, man. Like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was not expecting that. Like that shit totally threw me through the fucking loop. And again, I know what's all over America. People have different things, but I think at least you should have 15 up, 15 down. And I think was the minimum to get 1080p 60. I don't know what type of technology they're using, but like I said, I have 300 up, 300 down. I have Ryzen Fios, and I forgot what they said to do 4K 60 is 30 up, 30 down, or however the fuck the case may be. But bro, like again, they didn't go. They was gonna show more, but they say if you have your favorite YouTuber and they streaming, here on YouTube, and they're playing whatever the hell, and you like the game, and you can just click it with your mouse and be right in the game with them, like that shit. You know what I mean? Right.
You know what has me worried though, because I saw the super chat from Neethles, and he was like, me and Post and DRM and Moss have been saying this. It worries me that Post is saying this because he believes in the flat Earth stuff. So I don't know about. Maybe I'm wrong. Flat Earth. That's definitely to say like Sony's just gonna go PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying?
No, at the end of the
PS5 only. You can't take what a flat earther says is truth. You know what I mean?
A platinum. I can't get my brother Noah again. He said I can't put the link up there, man. So I can't give away the source. And Z, he's always a trendsetter in the different things that he does with his shows. Yeah, they're gonna cut, but it is what it is, man. I ain't hating on nobody, man. But again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to ask us a question, again, I'm saying this again, that way I keep saying it, and partake in the show, ask us a question. It won't cost you a dime. This is the mobile link. It'll pop up on the screen like you guys. You might see an ad in the link for a PC or whatever the hell they're selling, but it helps the show. You know what I mean? Brad, we talked about just a little bit and everything, man. You know what I mean? Is something that you want to add, or you feel you didn't get off your chest before, I'm gonna ask you a question, Brand.
Yeah.
I want you to be brutally honest with me, all right?
All right.
I promise not to talk about you behind your back, right? Am I toxic?
For people?
Why do you think Next Gen gets a bad rap?
I think most people don't know you, and they see a 10-second clip on Twitter, and think that's it's like anybody with like Colt or Dealer, anybody that say something, or even like PlayStation dudes where they just take a small 15-second clip, and then people base that whole person's character on something they said 15 seconds. Like, you don't know context, you don't know, joking around, all that stuff. So
yeah, they gonna use. Oh my God, man, you did a show with Zaire. He's so toxic. Like, Jesus Christ, what? I'm boom-tastic. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, man. Like, this shit crazy as hell to me, yo. What do you want to do? Oh.
I don't know. Like, it's the toxic thing. I don't know. Like, people probably say I'm toxic.
Yeah.
I don't really pay much.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. Even when you, because I hear, I think we have a lot of the same circle of friends within the industry from over in Microsoft, so they still speak to me, right? But even when a certain person got mad at you about the Crackdown thing, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That was so many people at Microsoft.
Yeah,
I was froze out.
Yeah, okay. They got mad at you about the Crackdown thing, or whatever the case. I still never got, more or less, the bad, from you, or whatever the case. I just got to ask you, not for real, like, maybe it's not the content of my cat, let me color my goddamn skin, because I'm looking like, I'm naturally just a silly motherfucker. I don't, I would never cross the line. You would never hear me talking about nothing racist or homophobic. It's just me bugging the fuck out. It just know me Jackie the goddamn joke, man. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know. My man here, Gamer O'Malley, shout out to you, good brother. He said, Rand and Z, you guys need to link up way more, man. A great conversation. It's always I have a great time when I talk to Rand. You know what I mean? Yeah.
2 hours flew by like nothing.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, goddamn, you know what I mean? Like, it did, man. It was a great conversation. Again, I like to shout out to everybody in here that rocked out with us to help support the show. And again, I'm going to say this again. Guys, if you want to, maybe you might be on a fixed income. Maybe like my man Heath Stevens that was born without kneecaps, right? And my man, Heath Stevens, one of my biggest supporters. He watch every goddamn show of mine. You want to send a message and interact with me or whoever personality that I have on stage or on the show. This is the link. It won't cost you a dime. It'll pop up on the screen. It really helps the platform and me paying different personalities like Baron Loud Ass. Shout out to my brother Xavier Bay who said PlayStation gamers are schizophrenics. But hold on, one second. He said, "Hey Z, just paying the ties to the gaming streets. And yes, you are toxic, but we are broadband bulls. We like to run shit." Shout out to my brother. Hey yo, hey, Dragon Ball. I sent you that link, that invite to Mortal Kombat last night, good brother. What happened? I wanted some smoke. The dojo was open, man. You know what I mean? But before we go, Rand, what are you playing right now? You said you're playing what's it? Rage 2. No yeah. Mortal Kombat?
I finished Mortal. I mean, I like Mortal Kombat a lot. Like I played for like the story and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I haven't even beat the story yet.
I'm not a fighter though. Like
no,
I know you deal like the smoke. You know, when you fight people, I get my ass kicked. Like I know.
Oh, no. Hey, Brad, I was humble at the start of this thing here. You know what I mean? You know, I was humble. I was getting my ass whooped. You know what I mean? But I'm back now. I want all the smoke. But yeah, you know what I mean? But I haven't got past. I think Sonya just died. Oh no, I'm sorry. I got to the part with Shang Kong fight Total Khan. You know, that's where I'm at right there in the story.
Dude, that game looks gorgeous, man.
I said it's one of the best looking games. This snow is crazy, right? And I might get a little slander for this, and I'm probably gonna close the show with this. You remember what's that shit? What's that Final Fantasy VII the remake? Everybody was going goo gaga about, right?
Yeah.
I remember when they first teased the game? They first teased it in 2014, 2015.
2015. It was the dream. What was it called? Like it was that segment where they literally showed off Final Fantasy VII, Shenmue 3, and I forget, was it Last Guardian? And they called it like the E3 of dreams for Sony or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but anyway, so you know, you had that, and I remember thinking, this looks pretty good. But when they went and showed it again, and maybe because I was thinking about how good it looked at graphic when they first showed it. Oh, this should look kind of slick here. It doesn't hold a candle to what we got going on now, like towards the tail end of the generation. I mean, like developers learn how to use, to get more juice out of it. Like again, Mortal Kombat is one of, I would say that probably one of the best looking goddamn games that came out this generation. And Gears of War 5, that's gonna look amazing. I'm a huge Gears of War fan, especially the part with the, you don't even do many multiplayer shooters, none either, do you, Rand?
Multiplayer games? I mean, I put 600 hours into PUBG. I have like 150 hours into Apex. I never
see like one of Battlefields or anything like that.
I mean, Battlefield 5, my friends didn't care for, so I didn't play it that much.
Oh man, that was my shit. I never got into one of them before.
Halo 5, I have like 250 hours in. Overwatch, I have 100 hours in. I mean, I will get my multiplayer in, when I like it and if my friends enjoy it. But right now, I'm playing Rage 2. I played Plague Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Days Gone. I'm more in like a single player stretch. But yeah, dude, like last year, like from when PUBG came out, it was just like literally almost the entire year. I have like 600 hours into PUBG on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let me read this last thing here in the free chat messaging app thing. I got another question. My brother Mighty Moss, he said, ask Rand why he talked to your size 7.5 shoes New Balance wearing motherfucker for 2 hours. Should take his talents to crap gamer reviews. Oh man, Jesus Christ, man. Oh man, leave past the crap alone, man.
What was the question? He
said, Rand said, ask why you spent 2.5 hours talking to my, I got a little small feet. They be teasing me, man. My 7.5 New Balance shoes wearing, you know what I mean? I wear like 8.5, man. I'm grown ass man wearing 8.5 in the shoe. Why do you take your talents to crap channel? You know what I mean? Basically, was asking. Megaton? No comment. No comment.
I haven't spoken to crap in a long time.
Yeah, man.
So I mean,
he
hasn't invited me to Xbox Nation in years.
Damn.
A year.
Damn.
Forever.
Damn.
Mooch will invite me here and there to Crossfire, and I did Crossfire not that long ago. But yeah, I mean that's the truth. Just haven't talked to crap in a long time.
Oh, okay, well, all right, fuck them. Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. First, if they don't know, on your channel, What do you got going on? Do you have a weekly show? The guys that may
Yeah,
not know.
yeah. Me and Jazz have a weekly
And
show
tell that
called the
guy to cool the
Xbox
fuck out,
Two.
man. Tell him I ain't gonna bite his head. I'm gonna leave him alone, man. Tell him
He doesn't hate you. You know,
yeah,
it's all
yeah.
good
You know what's
stuff.
fucking? You know what's crazy? I'm always getting blocked on Twitter, right? So somebody put up a tweet or whatever. I'm blocked. I don't know how the fuck he finds out my new Twitter account, but as soon as my shit is blocked, you know what I mean? Tell him I extended an olive branch to him, man. Shalom, Mikasa Sukasa.
Do usually every week, depending on the day. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, sometimes Friday, and then I drop individual videos throughout the week. I try to do like maybe 5 videos a week, depending. I do
Mm-hmm.
have a couple I'm working on. I got a Days Gone video and a E3
So
prediction
wait,
video
to
coming
do
up.
your videos, what you got to get into a mode, or are you working on them, and like how do you go about? Like,
Well, okay, so yesterday I was working on Days Gone review. Like I was recording the audio and kind of syncing up the visuals, and then that big story drop between Xbox and Microsoft and Sony. So I stopped what I was doing and made that video.
Hot went live.
And then it got late, so I kind of like I make videos afternoon and then like nighttime and whatever's for gaming, and I do like school work stuff in the morning. So today I was just busy, so I didn't get to finish working on that, but I'll have more time this weekend. It's like I got a Days Gone, I got to finish that one. But yeah, usually I sit down and I think about a topic I want to talk about, play, put it on there. I just kind of speak, and sometimes I have to do multiple takes if it doesn't sound good. So on and so forth. But yeah,
What
few.
do you use for your audio? What?
I record in Premiere Pro. I mean, I have a Blue Yeti mic.
Premiere Pro. What the hell is that? Give me a link.
Premiere Pro. It's Adobe.
Oh,
Premiere
Adobe.
Pro.
Oh, what you pay a monthly fee for that? Like $10 or something?
I forget how much it is. I have like a student discount for it,
My
but it's
wife's the
still kind
principal.
of
I
expensive.
need to get him on that. Yeah. Oh, so what? You can record audio? I thought that was just for visual video. I think you can record.
You can record audio right in it, and it also has like
that.
an audio program called Audition. I just like having like stuff there, and I can just click the mic button and just start speaking, and then you can change all the different settings, like you can fix the
Bro, here's
audio.
the thing, man.
Or,
I'm gonna get in because my wife's a principal, and you do get like she might get a discount. So I'm gonna get it, man. If you have the time, you give me a crash course. I can step. I got dog shit.
I don't really know. I have the most basic understanding.
No, you don't, bro. I don't have
no,
any
dude.
understanding.
Trust me.
Like your fucking
Trust me.
thumbnails. Motherfucker, I asked you about your thumb. You told me I had to go see a man on the corner on Broad Market with a black trench coat.
That's the thumbnail yesterday. That's a Colt Eastwood special.
Oh yeah. I'm not sure. Hey yo, don't be mad. I still a motherfucker's thumbnail in a heartbeat. Don't be mad at me. I Google what I'm talking about. Dude, listen, pay me no mind, man. But hold on, we about to get the hell. We pay this last bill. We get the hell up out of here. Gotti, shout out to my brother Gotti, man. What up, Z? Hey, Gotti, we gotta do some work together, man. I've been saying that for years. We gotta do some work together. And let me read the last here on the free super chat, the messaging. For last time ago, guys. Again, if you want to partake in the shows that I do, this is the link. You can see me in free. That'll cost you a dime. Literally doesn't cost. Just click a link. You can see the message and it'll pop up on the screen. You see an ad for something, but it helps support the show. I can, pay some of the talent that comes on the show. Read this last little question here before we go. This guy name is Gothic. She said, shout out to Rand. Shout out to you, Zing. You guys did an awesome show, man. Two true Xbox fans without all the damage controlling, man. This is a great conversation for you guys. And these 2 hours went by fast. My wife was going to be pissed off at me. Also, shout out to Bleak. He said, man, great goddamn show. I'm giving Microsoft the E3 to show me something. If not, I'm getting the hell up out of there. And last but not least, he didn't leave a name. Next Gen, stop ducking me in Mortal Kombat. Nigga, I'm going to break your jaw when I catch you in these streets. All right. Okay, that's it. I read all the messages. I read all the chats. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This time of the year, I normally do one-on-ones, whatever. I'm going to try to get Rich on here next week. I possibly don't want with Dilla tomorrow. Depends on things, schedules, whatever. And again, I'm going to ask him, put his ass in the hot seat. And I got some real questions for him. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna ask Diller, does D really have a drug problem? So I'm gonna ask Diller all these questions tomorrow. We're gonna have a great a little foot. You missed my shit, bro. Well, you left sudden AP the shooter. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't see it, bro. You did. If you did see, I didn't see it. AP the shooter. Oh, I'm sorry. You did. I'm sorry. AP the shooter said Microsoft is the software god. Then Skynet is coming. Shit. Hey, you always talk about that Skynet shit with Microsoft, man. So that will be tomorrow. I'll be doing a one-on-one with him. Tomorrow's Friday. Oh, today is Friday, right? No, no, yeah, okay. We'll do the one tomorrow on Saturday. Give me about an hour. I'm about to shit, shower, shave. I'm gonna be on Mortal Kombat or either Days Gone. I'm gonna continue this conversation straight over. You know, my live streams are like a podcast. Any and everybody being there, having a great time. And again, hey Rand, thank you for swinging by. We got to do more work more often, man. I had a great time. Just just sitting back and just talking to you, bro. A good dude, man. You know what I mean? Appreciate it, man.
Thanks. I mean, after E3, when Microsoft,
We're gonna make a date on either your channel or mine. So it doesn't make a difference. Come right back. We gotta have a conversation after E3, okay?
After E3, we'll definitely sit down and talk about what they do. Because I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of info. They're going to talk about the xCloud. They're going to talk about Game Pass stuff, next new gen consoles and all that stuff.
Okay, the console's cool. Game Pass, I don't give a shit about. I want the games. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want. Here's the thing. Before we go, I don't want to see shit about Sea of Thieves. Okay, I don't want to see. That's the problem I have. I don't want to see about these games that I already know about. I don't want to see any more DLC content for Sea of Thieves or State of Decay. Fuck all that. Game Pass, you got what you call a pre-E3. You already had a little pre-E3 presses. You can put that shit in right there. You know what I mean? With them dog shit indies. E3, I want to see the Michael Bay transform. I want my eyes to fucking melt. Microsoft, stop holding your cards so close to your chest. I understand that they bought acquired a lot of companies. I don't care about how many LLCs and shit and domains they done bought. You know what I mean? Let's see what these companies are working on. You know what I mean? Something to get people excited about the brand again. And just, bro, I wish I could just go to one of these meetings and, because I'm gonna say it for some loud shit before we get off the air, but bro, they don't understand what the gamer want, bro. Like I never seen a company ran so vocal on social media, whether it's Twitter and Phil and Xbox Live parties, and just fucking don't get it. You understand? You have another company like Microsoft, like Sony, and the two who really doesn't say shit and deliver to what they fan base, like or whatever. Now, I'm not saying those might not be your type of games. I don't give a rat's ass about Nintendo, you know what I mean? And, whatever the fuck the case may be. But they deliver to, of what they fans are used to them for. Microsoft just doesn't seem to get it, you know what I mean? Like the Inside Xbox, what are they for? You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I don't like Inside Xbox. I don't like Inside Xbox.
Yeah, but who's the show for? Is it to get new fans or to get your excited fans happy? Like, I don't know. But it is what it is. Like I said, we set up a date to after E3. Man, thank everybody that rocked out live and participated in the super chat. Appreciate it, man. And in the free chat, man. Every little bit helps. We out of here, man. Dope shit.